Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Down the Line podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a first time in Down the Line history. I am solo today, so my co-host Ethan is starting a new podcast where he rates food at the different strip clubs across North America. It's called
Muffin stuff. Check it out.
I don't even remember what the bit was. I don't even remember what the joke. You said you
That
gave
was
it
a
a
good
name.
bit.
You gave it a name. I can't even
It
remember
was
what it
muffin
was.
stuff. Yeah.
He made like a whole fake press release.
I,
It was so
I
funny.
think that was a good bit.
That
was
was
a
a
good
good.
bit.
Oh, that was an incredible bit. That was an incredible bit.
What was even the reasoning? What in particular was
I
it?
think you sent that to me because Gosman gets traded, and then I just get the notification on my phone being like, effective immediately. I'm out of here. Baseball's not for me anymore. I'm moving on to. Hold on, wait. I have the message in front of
Yeah,
me.
it's
So Gosman gets traded, and then like right after, you send me this message. You go, effective immediately.
right.
I'm stepping down from the Down the Line podcast. Baseball's no longer for me. Peace. And then you put the peace sign emoji. I'm
Oh
moving on to
yeah,
bigger
the
things.
press release
I'm
for
starting a
me
new
here.
podcast where I rate the food at different strip clubs across North America.
That was a great gimmick. I can't
That
lie.
was a fantastic gimmick. Like I can't lie, I was laughing when you sent me that. That was so funny. Then you put the fake press release in the group chat or in the Discord.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, you gave it. What you call it, muffin stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fire. I mean, we will be there. We will make
Yep.
muffin stuff a reality at some point. One day.
We will.
One day we will.
The collab show is going to be, it's going to reach levels of locked in that we've never seen before. So
Is the collab show we're talking about baseball in a strip club while trying all their different like foods on the menu?
yes.
Ooh, that's tough.
All right, as you can see here, this chicken fall off the bone, much like Trey Savage's meniscus.
All right. All right, man. You had to do it. You had to do it. You had to do it to him. Oh, anyways, chat. So, it is currently the 7th, so it is Friday right now. Recently, Ethan, what was on Monday? Tell everyone, what was Monday that was big in the baseball world?
Yeah, the trade deadline. It's an annual thing that apparently it's when you can't make trades after that date, is what I heard.
Yeah, so that's when shit really goes down. Like that day and like the few days before. I don't know about you. I was chilling on the actual deadline day. I wasn't working because it was the civic holiday, so my work was closed. I was chilling. I had the Jolly Olive trade deadline stream open. I was constantly refreshing. I had this other group chat. I'm in this small other group chat on Twitter. I got added to this thing years ago, right? Nobody really talks in it. But everyone just sent, well, it's mostly like the same like couple people just send like all the tweets from like the reporters being like, all right, this is the rumors happening, this trade just happened, whatever. Like that kind of stuff. That's the kind of group chat it is. And so I kept this group chat open because there's this one dude in this chat. His name is Tom. He sends these things so fast. Like, I will get the notification for Basan. I'll instantly go to send it to this group chat. I'll see that this Tom guy sent it 30 seconds ago. And I'm like, you got it, bro. Like, you got it.
Impressive.
Actually, like, ridiculously impressive. That's why, like, I had this thing open. Like I had it open. I was closing it, opening the chat again. When something went down, that was how I found out about it. Keep in mind, I have the notifications on for like Ken Rosenthal, Passan. I see all the stuff they retweet and shit. And this guy's still beating me to it. Like I'm getting it. I'm seeing it in the group chat before the notification even comes through, and I'm like, damn, y'all got it. Y'all absolutely got it, bro. So, anyways, much like we did last year, we went through pretty much every single trade that involved like an actual major league player, and we gave it a grade, anywhere from an A+ to an F. You can guess what everything is mostly. We're not going to do literally every single transaction that happened during the deadline because we're not going to talk about like minor leaguer for minor leaguer.
If you want to hear us grade the Urquidy for Doratillo trade, then you can send in like a complaint and say, hey, you grade this trade and we'll do it the next episode. So
yeah, that like we got to have something here. There's got to be some real like major league basis to the actual move.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna start right away. We're not gonna do anything else before. So we're gonna start. We already talked about this trade a little bit on the podcast, but We're gonna start with Connolly early for Curtis Mead. This was like the first real move of like deadline season. Um, I don't really have anything else to say about the trade that we didn't already say. I don't know about you, Ethan.
No,
Yeah,
I mean obviously it's unfortunate that Mead is already on the IL for the Red Sox, but that doesn't really change how I feel about the trade, as
yeah.
it's somebody who only has like a year of service time, so it's not like, he's a free agent at the end of the year or
Yeah.
something. They weren't making the trade as a rental.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't really affect anything very much. Ethan, I think we have the same article open. Are you noticing they mislabeled Connolly early as a right-handed pitcher?
Yes.
They pulled a me and Kyle Finnegan. I guess the reverse because he's righty and I said he was lefty.
I saw somebody, I think it was Shai Davidi, said that Desan Hill was a righty, the guy we traded for, but he's a lefty.
Mm-mm.
He did the same thing there.
Happens sometimes.
It does.
Listen, it happens. It is what it is. Anyways, my opinion hasn't really changed on this trade since it went down. Like, I still think it's pretty win-win for both sides. I would favor the National side a little bit more, but I think both sides did well in this. Again, not much else to say that we didn't say last time we talked about it. I don't know about you, Ethan. I'm gonna give this a B plus for the Nationals. I'm gonna give it a B for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Solid value. I just think the Nationals got the better end, just because I think Early has more upside. And while I do think Mead's breakout is kind of real, there is a little bit of iffiness there, just because he's never really been that guy at the major league level. This is another trade that we talked about on originally. So this is the Logan O'Hoppe trade. Logan O'Hoppe went to the Rangers along with reliever Chase Silseth, and then the Angels got infield prospect Angel Arredondo. I think that's how you say his name. I hope that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. I like this trade.
I mean, it's lucky his name is Angel and not like Brewer or something.
That that would that would definitely be. So obviously the thing is that Silseth has a lot of control and he's really good and he's 26. O'Hoppe is kind of just like a here damn sort of piece, like, you know what I mean?
Very low floor, but the upside is a serviceable catcher. So I mean, that's just as that's not the reason they made the trade.
Yeah, O'Hoppe, realistically speaking, he's probably not a positive asset just because he's now making our money, and he's just not good. It's worth the flyer if you're the Rangers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's shit, you know what I mean? You just cut him and you're not really losing much. It's not like you're stuck to him long term. And Arredondo, he's solid. He's not bad. Mozeliak was saying that he should probably be ranked a lot higher than a lot of the publications have him, which I don't even think he's ranked in their top 30, unless it changed after the trade was made. I don't know, but I gotta say I like this trade for the Angels, but I also do like it for Texas, just because I think that Silseth is good.
Yeah,
probably a B.
I mean, that was the main part of the trade, obviously.
Yeah, that was the big one. I would probably.
He is the Angels' 28th prospect now after the updates.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah. So you got a guy who's now in your top 30 for Silseth, you know what I mean? Your team wasn't really going to go anywhere. Silseth isn't really that big of a loss. He can be valuable out of a bullpen, but I don't think he's I don't think it's that crazy. And O'Hoppe, there was really no point in you keeping him any further.
Yeah.
Probably a negative asset. I'd probably go.
He kind of maxed out his value already. Like, he's not going to do better than he's already done. But Silseth, I mean, coming off, he had a very good year so far this year, so definitely a nice add for the Rangers, who, get a 26-year-old controllable reliever for
a prospect that's basically the bottom of your top 30. So
yeah,
I would say B on both sides. Honestly, I think both teams did solid in this.
I would say the same for the other trade. I think it's B plus for the Rangers, B for the Angels. If the Angels get an asset, well, not really, trading out a whole lot much, but I mean, obviously a nice bullpen addition for the Rangers and a catcher with, at the very least, major league replacement level upside. You would hope.
True. No, that's fair. Actually, no. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Because I think Silseth alone, actually, I think I'm kind of undervaluing it
Yeah.
when I say B.
If you take O'Hoppe out, I still think that the Rangers win the trade.
Yeah. Well,
Well, okay, win is subjective. I think that they win for what they
Yeah.
intended to do in the trade.
Yeah. I mean, again, O'Hoppe's not really doing anything. He's just like,
Yeah.
you know what? May as well take the flyer. Maybe slightly bring down the value so they just didn't have to give up a second guy. But, you know. Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. I agree. Actually, probably B plus for Texas just because, you know what? Why not? Next one. This is a really funny one because we're gonna talk about one of these players again in a bit. Jake Rogers went to the Orioles for right-handed pitching prospect from the Tigers. Or I guess
Zane Barnhart.
on the Zane Barnhart. Yeah, not from the Tigers. He's on the Tigers now. Like this is C all around. Honestly, I don't think is Barnhart.
Yeah,
I don't think Barnhart was in the Orioles top 30 even. And I mean, Rogers
I do not think so either. And Jake Rogers, I mean, it's with all due respect, it's not 2023 anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much value we're really gonna get for him.
Yeah, I'll throw this at like a C.
Especially because I'm pretty sure he was DFA'd already. Like
yeah, it was a DFA pickup.
Like last week or whatever. Yeah,
it was a DFA pickup. So I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You know, nothing really crazy. I'm ready to call this a C on both sides and then move to the next trade.
Yeah.
Next one. This is one. I think this is the last one that we ended up talking about on the podcast before. You know, everything after this trade I think was made after the last episode. AJ Minter to the Twins. Again, we kind of talked about this trade a lot more when it happened. But I still like him in Minnesota. You know, solid lefty. You gave up two prospects that. One of them was in your top 30. Agbayani was 29th in your system. He's now 22nd in the Mets system. We're going to be talking about the Mets a lot because I actually think they made out really well this deadline. But
yeah,
two prospects. You got a guy who's almost in your top 20 prospects now for a reliever who's 32. He was having a fine year, nothing crazy, and he's a free agent at the end of the year. So I think the Mets did pretty well. At the same time, the Twins, like you needed pitching. We were talking about it before. Like if they bought, they had to get pitching. This is one of the guys they got. Solid, like really, really solid. I think. I would honestly, I like this for both sides. I like B plus. I like B plus honestly for both.
Yeah.
No, no crazy upside, but I think the Mets made pretty.
Yeah,
well
I mean, I think Bruin Agbayani. I liked his scouting report a lot. He definitely looks like he could be a solid guy to slot in at some point in the future. Maybe not an everyday guy, but he just does a bit of everything well. Like he's a balanced player.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do anything that's like overwhelmingly good, but there's no part of his games where you look at and you think like, okay, this guy's a very flawed player.
Mm-hmm. He's just very okay. He's very okay.
Yeah,
right? And, he's really
and that plays well. Like that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's a guy who you can.
That will get you like playing time, obviously.
Yeah, well, even if it's depth playing time, like that's a solid piece.
Yeah,
right. Worst case, these guys don't pan out, and it's like who cares? It's AJ Minter, with all due respect.
Yeah,
like, that wasn't going to change your franchise. So I'd probably say B plus for both sides, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a third turn for both. Next one. This is the first trade since the last episode that we did. This is the Twins acquiring Dean Kramer from the Orioles for outfield prospect. I'm going to try to pronounce his name. Jonardo Reyes. I don't know if that's correct.
So,
hopefully it is.
Orioles fans before the season started were trying to tell Jays fans that Dean Kramer is a better pitcher than Dylan Cease.
The story of Lobos, bro. The story of
So
Lobos.
that's an A plus for the Twins for getting a pitcher better than Dylan Cease for a prospect.
I mean, has to be. I mean, that's better than the Cy Young.
But he did look good. He did look good in his first start. I mean, 5 innings, 3 hits and a run. They did lose, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like a nothing trade for the Twins in the sense of like you're not giving up like a top prospect and you're getting a guy who can give you innings, which at this point you just need guys who can give you innings, any kind of innings.
I actually really like this trade for Baltimore. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big Dean Kramer guy. I don't think he's that good. And I understand he is like a depth starter. You're not really getting him to, fix your rotation, right? But I think one of the things with this is Dean Creamer, he's in the back end of his ARB years. He is making real money, and you gave up a guy who, for the Orioles, right? You got a guy who's now 20th in your system for a guy that, number one, isn't that good. Like, he can be like okay. Realistically, I think his ceiling is like a 4 starter. Realistically, right? That's his ceiling. He's 30.
Yeah.
It's not like he's getting better. But you got a guy who's now 20th in your system for a guy who, again, he was making some level
Yeah,
of
like that's just good
right?
business, obviously.
It's really good business. I was honestly surprised when I saw this package because I'm like, damn, I don't really think that the Twins had to give up that much. Like for the season, I think Creamer's making around $6 million. He's under ARB for next year, so it's probably going to be a little bit higher for a back end starter. You know, nothing crazy, but again, you're taking on that money while giving up a solid prospect, I would say. I think you could have gotten a little bit better given that. Like, is it?
Yeah, given the market, I don't think it's crazy to say. I mean, I'm
Is
not
it-
going to say that it's a better
like-
return than some of the other starters,
like, is
but
it-
like I
like, is
would
it-
have rather paid that extra
Like, is it crazy?
little bit to get a legit starter.
Like, is it crazy to say that this is like more value than the Blue Jays got for Kevin Gausman?
I'm going to say no simply because the floor of the guys are way higher simply because of their tools, whereas Reyes is not a, contact-oriented guy where he's relying on the singles and his speed and his defense to get him to where he is. So in terms of like upside, I think it's better, but in terms of like the absolute floor, I think the Jays got.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, I would take Gausman over Dean Kramer 20 times out of 10.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Like, I'd take him twice a day, and again, fucking on Sundays and extra time. Like, it's not like it's close.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know. Obviously, the year control is a big factor, but like, versus obviously Gausman being a rental, but it's like, I don't know. This feels like, I personally think that this is more. I understand the floor of the guys the Jays got are better, and we'll talk about that package later, but I think Reyes just has a pretty good upside, to the point where, I don't know. I just, for a guy of Creamer's caliber, I'm just like, damn, that's a bit, man. I don't love it really for the Twins. Like, I probably, if I had to give it for the Orioles, I'm going to give it an A- because I think they made out really well in this trade. For the Twins, like, what am I thinking here? I'm thinking a C, but that might be, honestly, that's kind of generous, I think. I think C.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dean Kramer's going to do much for you, but I also think that Reyes is somebody who isn't helping the Twins at any point like in the near future, so it's kind of like I could understand in their perspective why that would be an expendable asset, but at the same time, it's Dean Kramer.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like Dean Kramer is like he's just historically not been that good. He's historically gotten hit like you know whether it's walking guys, the strikeouts have never really been there. The peripherals have never really been in his favor. You know what I mean? It's not even like he's a guy who just has really good stuff and there's upside there. It's like he throws 93. You know what I mean? He averages 93 on his four seam, 92 on his sinker. Like, below average velo, below average stuff. His location is like fine-ish. I guess is slightly better than average walk rate. Which again, I'm not saying he can't be a major league caliber starter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's not a major league player, but he's like a 5, and I think that you really didn't need to give a prospect that high level. Not that he's a franchise-changing prospect. That is, I think it's a bit of an overpay. I think it's quite a bit of an overpay.
Yeah, I do think though that the Twins system is definitely built around outfielders a lot. Like I feel like it's one of those situations where most of their top prospects or like higher upside prospects are outfielders. So it's not like they're giving, it's not like the trade was a top prospect of a different position. It's one that they already have a lot of. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm not going to say that he's not good, but maybe they felt like they liked who they had in the system around him better, and they just didn't see a path for him to the majors.
Yeah, maybe. It can always, that could be the case, I guess, yeah. But yeah, I'm ready to, Yeah, again, I give it like an
Yeah.
A minus for the Orioles. I'm giving it a C minus for the Twins. I still don't really like it for them. But
Yeah, that's valid. I could agree with that.
next one, and I think this is the most C trade of all time. Brewers acquired Bo Naylor and Cody. How is it? Cody Howard?
I think so.
Howard, yeah, for Craig Yoho and Blake Perkins. I think this is the most C trade of all time. Maybe C plus for Baltimore. Or for
Yeah,
not
I
for Baltimore,
mean,
for Milwaukee. I don't know why I said Baltimore.
I absolutely love Craig Yoho's stuff. I think he is absolutely filthy. I really like him. But I don't know with the Guardians how they develop like relievers. I really like it for them.
You know what? For some reason I didn't even consider the Guardians Demon Lab right there.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
even consider that.
I don't know. I'm thinking like first of all, the first thing I could think of is imagine how good that bullpen would be in a year or two if Class A wasn't a degen.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna upgrade this trade actually because you know what? You're right. I do.
But I think Bo Naylor's obviously solid, but I don't really think he's like a needle mover at this point
Yeah.
in his career.
I think he has
Whereas,
more. I think like the idea of Bo Naylor, it's getting to the point where I think the idea of Bo Naylor is better than the actual Bo Naylor.
yeah,
You know, because I think like the idea of Bo
we'll
Naylor.
never forget his home run in the World Baseball Classic,
Oh, we
though.
never
That
will.
will never be forgotten.
I think like because the
Josh Naylor, his brother, did his best to try to make it so no one remembers it, but
he did try. I think that like the idea of Bo Naylor, you know, you're getting this big lefty slugging catcher, you know, can pop like 25 home runs, probably like a 120 WRC plus bat, but like not even average defense, maybe slightly below average, and that probably equals out to I don't know what is that, maybe like a 3-win player, 3.5. I don't know what that would be. I feel like that's
yeah,
more the idea of Bo Naylor, but he just hasn't been that.
yes, his bat has been way too inconsistent. There have been flashes where he looks like he'll go on a run where he just looks like he's finally breaking out and becoming like a consistent everyday starter.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just goes on a cold streak, and it's like, oh my god, how is this guy in the MLB right now? It's like,
Yeah, because
okay,
the other thing is too, there's like a lot of reason to you can look at some of the under the hood stuff and be like, you know what, like there's definitely a path to this guy being really good.
yeah,
Like if I look at last season, he had a little bit above average bat speed. You know, he didn't really chase much, he didn't whiff, and he walked a decent amount, right? He also pulled a lot of fly balls, and he had some pretty good, pretty optimal launch angles, more or less. That on its own,
and you know what he does at a very, very, very high rate?
what?
Pulls the ball in the air. I mean, he
Yeah,
does it this year in his limited time, 25.4% of the time. Last year, 26.8. I mean, he's definitely very good at that, and that's why he's able to have the home run numbers that he's had so far in his career because of the ability to pull a ball. So
yeah,
that right there is a strength that automatically gives you an advantage over somebody who can't pull the ball in the air.
exactly.
But at the same time, you're also just for a team like the Brewers, you already have Contreras at catcher. You're not in a rush for him to come up and make an impact right away. You can afford to let him kind of develop a little bit more.
You can stick him in the minors, and I think I'm pretty sure the Brewers optioned both these guys to AAA
Yes.
after they got them. Like, you know, you can afford to let him just kind of work with him down there, see if you can figure it out before whatever happens, you decide to call him back up. But to say with Bo Naylor, like there's a lot of reason to look at his stuff and be like, there's definitely like a really good player in here, but also at the same time, like it gets to a point. Like it gets to a point. There's only so many seasons of an OPS in the mid to low 600s with solid under the hood stuff where you can keep saying, oh, but look at this stuff before you're just like, all right, man, like I've had enough.
And the thing with the catcher position is if he was at least like just slightly above average defensive, that would make him
it would be
would make him almost an everyday player.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's obviously is what you're saying, but he's always been it's not
bat
always,
first.
but for the most part, he's been a bat first catcher. He hasn't really been a good framer. 24, he was an incredible framer, and then I don't know what happened after that. He was a negative framer. He wasn't really good this year at framing. Plus the blocks were down. His pop time is good. He's not really good at throwing guys out. It's just not great back there. And now this season when a lot of the stuff is worse, like again, mid 600 OPS, A lot of the toolsy kind of stuff isn't really there anymore. The launch angles are worse. The bat speed is slightly down. He was walking way less before he got sent down. Like, it's rough. You know what I mean? Like we say, like, it gets to a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, eventually, I can bet on the tools all I want, and a lot of the time, that's what people will do, even people in front offices. But at a certain point, like, it's a what have you? At a certain point, it becomes a what have you done for me lately kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like it's like Josh Donaldson says, at a certain point, it is a get it done league.
Yeah.
At a point, you have to get it done, and if you're
The
not,
process is all right, but at the same time, you just gotta actually
exactly
produce.
There's only so long where you can keep saying, well, the process, right? There's only so long where you can keep saying it. So,
but 26 years old, we've seen guys have their breakout season older than that. It's not like we're saying this guy's career is done, but it makes sense as to why Cleveland would want to move on at this point in time.
Yeah. I am actually going to regrade this trade. I know I said C on both sides. I'm thinking about it more. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about Craig Yoho. I'm actually going to give it a B- for Cleveland and a C+ for I almost said Seattle. Why am I thinking Seattle? For Milwaukee.
I would say B+ for Cleveland and B for Milwaukee. The thing is, Milwaukee also has a bit of a lab where they're able to do that pictures, so I don't think the Craig Yoho loss will be as bad for them as it would if it was like almost any other team.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's not like, you know what I mean, having a guy with as nasty stuff as Yoho has, I mean, that would have done miracles for Milwaukee. But again, it's not like they have a problem with getting relief pitchers who can pitch well. So
yeah,
definitely one of the positions, if you're Milwaukee, that you can afford to trade off of at any point because of that. But
yeah, we're gonna move on to the next one. What's next? Camilo Doval. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, I mean, that one's Doval to the Pirates, along with cash considerations for catcher Omar Alfonso and outfielder Luis Cruz.
This isn't bad. So Omar Alfonso, he was the number 17 prospect in the Pirates org. Luis Cruz was unranked. Now the big thing with this, right, is if you're the Yankees, Camilo Doval, you look at this and you go, Camilo Doval wasn't good, right? Camilo Doval, it is not a secret. They traded for him last year, and I think we even said last year that it was a pretty good move for them. But he just hasn't been good this year. His strikeouts have been down. His home run numbers have been up. You know what I mean? A lot of his under-the-hood stuff isn't really as great. It's just not as good this year. Like, it's just that plain and simple. So you need to figure out what is the move here, right? Because you can't have these kind of arms in your pen where there's not really doing anything for you. If you want to be a good playoff team, you need to be like those guys, right? Especially for a guy, making $6 million too, right?
Yeah.
For the season, I don't remember what the rest of it is for the year, but yeah.
And for what they gave up to get him in the first place.
Yeah. Now, with that said, it's not like Camilo Doval is just like some bum, right? Like,
no, and especially for a team like the Pirates who need bullpen help, it's very evident why they would make this trade.
Yeah, so Camilo Doval, obviously, he throws gas. He averages on his four-seamer, sorry, not his four-seamer, on his sinker, he averages almost 99 and 98.5. And his cutter, 98.8.
His cutter's 99, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has juice. But the thing is, unfortunately for him, as much as he throws hard, he gets hit hard.
Yeah. Camilo Doval, when he's good, he does these things, right? He gets a lot of ground balls, and he limits hard contact, and he strikes guys out. That's what he does. Walks, he's always going to walk guys. So that's just kind of a thing with him. Last season, he was doing all of those things incredibly well. His ground ball rate was in the 91st percentile. His barrel rate, 84th percentile. Strikeout rate, 74th percentile. All really good. This year, his ground ball rate, 96th percentile. Really good. His barrel rate, 55th percentile. Strikeout rate, 42nd percentile. Not a coincidence that his hard hit rate last year was in the 50th percentile. This year, it's in the 3rd percentile. they've been mashing him this year.
Yes.
Absolutely mashing him. And that's an issue. That has been the issue with him. Now, I guess the Pirates, that directly correlates to, like, they're just doing more damage on him, right? They're doing more damage on him. It's not necessarily that they're just getting more guys on base against him, necessarily. I mean, I think that is the case, technically. But the case more so is that when they do get to him, they get to him really good. His home runs per 9 is almost triple what it was last season. Almost triple. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, the Pirates will take a look at it and they'll be able to kind of determine what they need to change, but it is definitely jarring a bit to see those numbers jump up at you with the with the exit velocities. Like, it's like, okay, that's a bit much. But yeah, I mean, it's just his sinker. It's a good pitch, but it's what's getting him killed the most.
Yeah.
I mean, opponents are slugging just like about 350 with a hard hit rate of 53% on it.
Absolutely.
And he's throwing that now 41.9% of the time, whereas last year he threw it 12.2% of the time. It's definitely interesting to see, the pitch, how it's working compared to last year in more usage in terms of like the actual rates, because the average is lower on the sinker, but obviously the slugging is significantly higher.
Which, again, that's where they're getting him this year.
Yeah.
Is when they connect good. Even on his cutter, they're slugging like 130, I think, almost 130 points higher on this cutter this year as opposed to
the cutters, but also the cutters also getting it's very unlucky, as the expected slugging 315 to the actual slugging 472, the expected batting average of 224, and the actual batting average of 333. It's definitely a bit of luck that's playing into it, but
Partially.
I also think that Doval has the tools to right the ship, especially, change of scenery in a less big market, less pressure. It's Pittsburgh. It's not the Yankees, where if you have one bad outing, then you're going to hear it from the fans. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying having a passionate, fan base and market's a bad thing. But for a pitcher, and pitcher who is, struggling all year, it can't hurt.
Yeah, like I would be more inclined to believe that this is something that is going to work itself out. Like, Camilo Doval's Sierra skill independent ERA is a point higher than it was last year. Last year was 380. This year it's 381, which is more or less what it's been for the last 3 years. Even 24, it was 373. His xFIP minus is not that much higher than it was last year, or not that much worse, I should say. Yeah. It's an issue, right? Just what's happening. I do think that it is just kind of just tough batted ball variance at the end of the day, because he's even giving up less line drives than he was last year. They're down like 6%. He's getting more pop-ups. I think he's just getting killed on fly balls, and I do think that it's just, I honestly do think a lot of it is bad luck, right? His home run to fly ball ratio was up 10% as opposed to last year. Last year was 8.9% to now this year 18.9%.
And one thing that's interesting to note here is that this is the highest average exit velocity that he's given up. But he's also but it's also by far, well, not by far, but at least in the last couple of years, his max exit velocity is lower. So he's definitely not getting hit as hard. It's just happening more often where he's getting hit hard.
Exactly. Yeah. That's already exactly what's happening. Which, again, hopefully for his sake, it works itself out. I think it will. There's reasons to believe it will, but it's not perfect, right? It's not like a sure thing.
He's not a 450 ERA pitcher. He's just not.
No, absolutely not. I don't think he is, and I think it will work itself out. But also at the same time, it's like it has to do that first before we say it's done.
Yeah.
I I think it's a solid like upside kind of pick for the Pirates. They do have him for next year too. He's under arbitration. But on the Yankee side though, I really like the get of Alfonso. I think he's pretty good. Luis Cruz is kind of he's 18. He's a lottery ticket. I'm not really gonna act like that's like a major piece, but I do like I do like it for both sides. I think I like it slightly more for the Yankees.
Yeah, the thing with Alfonso, he's already 23 and he hasn't made it past AA, so he's definitely behind schedule, playing like 4 or 5 years now in the minor leagues in the Pirate system. Obviously we can see how the development and the plan changes now. He's in a different organization, but just also the fact that the Pirates probably, again, they have guys who are better prospects who are younger, so it's one of those things where, trading a guy you have a lot of, basically, for a guy you don't have a lot of, which is, a relief pitcher that'll help you now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I want to grade this. I do like it for both sides. I might give it a
B+ for the Yankees, B for the Pirates.
I think, yeah, you know what? No, I agree with that. B+ for the Yankees, B for the Pirates. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Next one, the Brewers, or not the Brewers. Oh my, I can't read today. I can't read. The Braves, acquiring Lane Thomas and Bailey Falter from the Royals for a pair of prospects. So Lane Thomas, let's get this out of the way. Lane Thomas, very obviously coming in to be like a platoon player, right? This is not a guy who's coming in to pitch every day. Bailey Falter, this is really just like a depth pitcher above all else, right? Bailey Falter
for a team that's the Braves, I mean, you don't really need to go out and get a superstar. You kind of have like you're the guys already. You just need to round out the team, make them deeper, make them more playoff ready for overall. So
absolutely, yeah. And Lane Thomas is a guy. He's here to hit lefties. His slash line against lefties for the season: 267, 372, 440. That is a 128 WRC plus against left-handed pitching, 812 OPS.
I'm pretty sure all of his home runs as well are against left-handed pitching. I don't think he has one against a righty.
Let me check that.
That might be wrong, but
that is quite wrong. It's 4 out of his 10 are against lefty.
Okay, so for some reason, the Sportsnet article lied. Got it.
Did it? Wait, does this say that here?
Oh no, I misread that. That's on me.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah.
You can see what I misread.
I see what you're reading. Yeah, no, I see why you would say that. Yeah. But yeah, that's what he's here for, and that's a pretty good skill to have. He's not going to be playing every day. He's probably not even going to be starting most days, I would think. But that's a really good thing to have, especially when it gets to that point of the postseason. You know what I mean? You need someone. You need guys to be able to come in against those lefties, even righties too. You need guys to come in against both sides. You need guys to just play their role, right? Yeah. He's not a needle mover, but he objectively raises the floor of the team, I think.
Yes, 100%.
Especially when you're going up against a lot of these lefties in the playoffs, like, just think. Let's say they match up against the Dodgers right now. You're gonna have Skubal. Assuming Snell is healthy. I know he just came back, but assuming he doesn't get injured again or anything like that, you have two of them. If you go against the Phillies, like Sanchez and Luzardo. If you're going against the Brewers, like, there's Kyle Harrison. The Cubs have like Imanaga. There's guys. There's definitely guys, and even like relievers too. There's guys there too. This is a guy that's, I would say, this is like pretty useful. I would say. Falter is just kind of a depth pitcher. Like, he's not really,
Yeah.
I don't think him being or not being in the trade really changes anything about it, to be totally honest. The prospects the two gave up. Now, you gave up two guys who weren't in your top 30, so essentially you didn't really give up that much. Lucas Braun.
Well, as for the live, first strikeout as a Blue Jay for Jose Soriano, getting Kyle Schwarber swinging.
We take that. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize the rain delay was up. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I just looked. I was on Savant and I saw it said top of the first. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, we take that. Jose Soriano shutout. We'll talk about him later. But yeah, you gave up two pitching prospects. One is Lucas Braun. He's 24 years old in AAA. The other is Carter Holton. He is in Single A. Neither of these guys are that crazy. But also you have to keep in mind that these are two I know, like, Lane Thomas is going to be useful just because, he can come off the bench against lefties,
Yes.
but at the same time, neither of these guys, like, really have value, right?
Yeah,
As a trade asset. So
but
inherently,
yeah, I mean, I really do like the platoon opportunity that they can now have in the outfield. Atlanta obviously. Um, Yastrzemski obviously isn't like some incredible guy, but lessening it and only having them play against right-handed hitting will definitely help the workload and help him be a more positive asset to the team.
yeah, absolutely. Because for example, this season he hasn't really played against lefties much this season. He's mostly played
Yeah.
against right-handed pitching. He's been fine against righties, slightly below average. When
Yeah.
he has played against lefties, it's ugly. It's like a 548 OPS, 63
Yeah.
WRC plus. You put in a lot more Lane Thomas action. Again, you're not subbing him out for Yaz. Yaz was never playing against lefties to begin with, but
Yeah.
you have this kind of Yaz and Thomas. I imagine that's probably what they're going to be doing. Yaz against righties, Thomas against
Yeah.
lefties. You get kind of a masher against lefties. Like
I mean, that's how you build good teams. You find guys that can play to their strengths. I mean, you don't
absolutely.
want to play guys in vulnerable and uncomfortable situations because that'll just not help you at all.
Yeah. On its own, I do definitely like. I don't think the Royals did poorly in this trade, but I really like it for Atlanta just because I think Lane Thomas is a solid asset. Probably I'd give it like a B
Yeah.
plus for the Braves. Probably like a B minus for the Royals. Like they did okay, but like nothing crazy. Granted, you weren't gonna get a crazy asset for either of these guys, but it's like they did fine, I guess. So I don't know. That's what I would give it. B minus for the Royals. B plus probably for the Braves. I would say I like it more on their end. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
All right. And this is a very, very interesting trade we're about to talk about.
Yes, it
The
is.
White Sox acquiring Luis Castillo from the Mariners for Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, who, by the way, for some reason I thought he was still with the Rockies, and Boston Smith. He's a catching prospect. Now, there is a lot of things going on here, right? Number one,
Yeah.
Luis Castillo, he's been rumored to get traded. I think even part of last year in the offseason, he was rumored to get traded. Obviously, this deadline, the rumors were swirling because, the Mariners, number one, they have 80 million starting pitchers. There was even rumors of, like, George Kirby or, like, Emerson Hancock getting traded. Obviously, neither of those guys ended up getting moved. It ended up being Luis Castillo. I think out of the Mariners group of starters, he is very clearly the worst one of the bunch. No disrespect, but, they have some guys in there. And he's also making a shit ton of money for this year. Next year, he has a vesting option for 2028 for 180 innings. I don't know if he would hit that, regardless of whether or not there's actually a 2027 season. I don't know if he would hit 180 innings next year because, unless he's really good, then he probably would. But it's a $25 million vesting option. Like, he's making bread. And on the other end, the Mariners, they got back Sir Anthony Dominguez, who, solid reliever this season. He is making some money. Nolan Jones just kind of like, whatever. Maybe can beat some depth. The big piece that I think swings this in heavy in one direction, Boston Smith. He is now the Mariners' number 14 prospect. He's not bad.
We just pour one out for 2023 Nolan Jones.
Sorry?
Can we pour one out for 2023 Nolan Jones?
I think we do got to pour one out. I think we need everyone, if you're watching, if you're listening, watching, whatever, pour out some more liquor. Have a moment of silence for Mr. Nolan Jones for us, because we're not going to do that on the pod. But, do that for us. Boston Smith isn't bad, though. He has solid power and a solid arm, right? He's not a can't-miss prospect. Again, he's 14th right now in the Mariners system. But I think the fact that they got off of Castillo to get Sir Anthony Dominguez, who is going to help them right now, it's also a decrease in money owed for the rest of the year, right? Well, actually, I say that, but Dominguez hasn't really been that good this year. And Nolan Jones, who's depth. Overall, you're getting off of money, and you actually got like a solid prospect while doing it. I would have thought that they would have had to attach money to Castillo to get off of him. That's
Yeah,
what I would have thought.
especially when you look at where he got traded.
Yeah, the Chicago White Sox. Now, we kind of said they need to get pitching, right? If you like,
Yeah.
probably stop by on pitching, maybe get somebody who's controllable. Ethan, I don't think this is the guy we meant.
Oh my,
Like, this is very
that's
much
gone.
not the guy we meant. Who went deep?
Andres Jimenez.
Shut
Someone
up.
trade for him in the offseason. He's great.
Hell yeah. New York Mets. Lindor for Andres, 1-for-1. Y'all absorb both
Someone's
contracts. I think that's a deal. But yeah, we were talking about the White Sox getting controllable starters maybe at the deadline. I don't think this is who we meant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. It's definitely not what I expected in the slightest.
No, when I said it, I had in my head guys like Jose Soriano, Reed Detmers kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think I said last week or the week before, I was like, fucking hell. I think I said Jose Soriano to the White Sox is like a dream fit. Or Detmers
Yeah.
too, like either one. Not Luis Castillo, because like
it's an
why?
interesting fit. I like, especially with the timeline. I don't fully understand it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
because like
But
the other thing is, it's like I wouldn't count on a bounce back. He's 33.
yeah,
You know,
what you see is basically what you're gonna get at this point.
it's not like this is Reds. It's not like when the Mariners traded for him and it was like, there's some concerning stuff, but he was just a strikeout demon. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? And he was just insane for the first like couple of years that he was with Seattle.
Yeah,
Right? But it's just not there anymore. Like the stuff is too hittable. The strikeout ability is gone. And I hate to be that guy. I don't think it's coming back. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? Like, from when he was at his peak with Seattle, his fastball was living like 96, 97, and it could touch 98, 99. This season, it is averaging 95, which is still good. It's still probably, I think it's slightly above average for a four-seamer. His four-seam is exactly average in terms of velocity.
yeah,
But again, like, that was the difference, right?
yeah.
That was
That
the
could play a
difference.
much bigger difference than you would think.
That was like he's getting hit so much harder this year. All of the
Yeah.
expected stuff is all so much worse on all of his pitches, pretty much. Like his sinker this year has a 412 xwOBA against it, and you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
He's getting lucky because it's a
That's
327 actual
insane.
wOBA.
That's insane to
ridiculous.
think about.
He's getting lucky because a lot of when they make contact, they're only hitting for singles. They're not
Yeah.
hitting for the 555 expected slugging on the sinker. It's only 387. He's fucking lucky.
That's not a good sign.
Like, I hate to be this guy. I don't know what the White Sox are doing with this trade. I have no idea what the purpose of this trade is for the White Sox. For the Mariners, sure. Sir Anthony hasn't been that great this year. Right? I think if you can somehow figure out the home run problem with him, he'll be fine because his K and strikeout per nine are not that much different from where it was like last season. And again, he pumps gas. He's been a guy where it's like he's going to walk a lot of guys, but he's also going to strike out a lot of guys. He's that kind of mold of reliever.
Yeah.
Just kind of what he's been. It's this thing kind of similar to Duvall. He's getting killed on the home run to fly ball ratio. It's the highest ever been by a good margin. Not necessarily to say that his is like as much bad luck, because a lot of the underlying and like peripheral stuff doesn't like him as much. Like his expected ERA is almost 5, right? Nolan Jones, again, not really much of an asset. It's Boston Smith that swings this trade because you got like a solid prospect for a guy who, respectfully,
especially at a premium position.
yes, a catcher, which again, who knows if he pans out? We don't know, but that's a flyer with a prospect, right? You got off of money on a guy who's not good, and you got a good prospect in the deal.
Yeah, and I'm looking at his stats right
work.
now. He's definitely overaged in Double-A at 23, but in 72 at bats, 8 home runs. Obviously a bit of a strikeout problem, but he walks a ton. He crushes the ball. I mean, there's a lot to like in his profile that tells me that that is what I think pushes it over the edge for me thinking that the Mariners came away with a great package.
Yeah, and it's the guy Luis Castillo's the guy you would think you would have to attach a prospect to him to get rid of him. Nope.
Or money.
Yeah, that's
or like retain a chunk.
Yeah, or like pay down part of the contract. I don't think they did any of that. Nothing. None of that.
Yeah.
And again, Sir Anthony Dominguez, let me double check this just to be 1,000% sure. But he's expiring, I'm pretty sure.
He has another year, I think, doesn't he?
He has another year? I thought it was a 1 year.
And then a vesting. I think he has one.
Okay.
He has another year and then a vesting option.
Never mind.
Then,
for some reason, I thought it was a 1 year deal for some reason. Sorry, it's a mutual. I wrote that down. Mutual option 2028, and I still misread it. He has a mutual option for 2028, which we know.
Yeah.
If we don't know anything about mutual options, Ethan, is that they are fucking performative as hell. They're fake. They are fake as fuck. Yeah, the Mariners, they're only paying him $2 million for the rest of the season. They're paying his full money next year. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is, but I would much rather pay $10 million than, like, 25 or whatever Luis Castillo's owed, somewhere in the realm of 25.
Yeah.
And again, you got a good prospect. I gotta say, this is this trade for the Mariners, I'd give this a B+, maybe even an A-.
I say A-, and then I think for the White Sox it's a C-,
because it's just like a D. Because like, what are you doing?
D even, yeah. It's just the reason why I'm not going to give them a D is because at the very least they're doing something to try.
Yeah,
they're at the very least they're doing more than other teams in a situation like that in previous years, and even this year where it's like, you know, they're a team who doesn't run a high payroll. What's the normal thing a team in this situation does? Nothing at the deadline, or they even sell off. But they're bringing a guy who they believe can make the rotation a bit better, which, you know, given their situation in the division and where they stand, I respect it for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, next trade, Ethan. This is the big one.
No, we already talked about the Arcady one.
You're right. The
other big one.
Small potatoes here. This one. The Los Angeles Dodgers acquire Tarek Skubal for outfielder Zahir Hope. Is that how you say his name? Zahir?
Yeah.
Zahir Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. Now, as a quick note, Hope is baseball's 25th ranked prospect, and Ryan is 68 according to MLB Pipeline.
That's his age, not his ranking, by the way.
Now, here's the thing, right? I think that a lot of the prospect rankings, like Pipeline, Baseball America, they're more or less reliable, I would say. I think River Ryan being the 68th ranked prospect, I think on Baseball America he's ranked even higher. I think that is so fake.
Yes.
That is ridiculously fake. Listen, so some of us were in a voice chat when the deadline was going down, right? I think you were there for a bit too, even.
I was for a good amount of it, yeah.
Yeah, you were definitely there for a bit. And I don't remember if you were there when we were talking about this specifically, but eventually we talked about, the Tarek Skubal shit. I think when you turn like 25, you should you lose prospect status. I don't consider you a prospect once you are past 25.
But even the thing is, a lot of times the issue is that it's like coming over from overseas, so they're still technically a prospect. But in this case, River Ryan has been in the Dodgers system since 2022. It's been 5 seasons there. And it gets to a point, and he's pitched in the major leagues already, as well. It's not like he is yet to debut. It's just, at some point, you just gotta say, okay, he's not a prospect. He has, played enough, but...
Yeah. Now, with that said, there's a lot of things being said about River Ryan. I don't know. Now, I don't like the baseball trade values, model that much. I think it's pretty not that good.
Yeah.
But they valued River Ryan at a 0.1, and I'm like, all right. I don't think he's nearly as valuable as, was it TJ Stats who had him top 40? I think that's ridiculous. For someone who I think that guy's incredibly smart, but I think top 40 is ridiculous. Or maybe it was...
Look, I think River Ryan's solid, but the thing is, his value is automatically less than it should be because of his age. If he has the exact same tools and stats and everything he does and he's 2 years younger, I think it's more valid. But it's also the fact that like Scooble right now is 29 years old.
Mhm.
Rick Ryan is about to be 28 years old. It's
Exactly.
not like you're getting like a 22-year-old or whatever as the pitcher back. You're getting it's just
He turns 28 in 10 days. He's
yeah.
in AAA right now. Also, a thing that I haven't heard as many people talk about, he's a really big injury risk right now. Or sorry, I shouldn't say he's a big injury risk, but there is a lot of injury risk with him. So ideally, you want him to be a starter. Maybe he profiles more as a reliever. Maybe we'll see what happens, right? But he hasn't thrown 100 plus innings at any level since 2023. And before that, he never threw 100 innings at any level. There is a lot of concern with volume there. I think that River Ryan, I'm going to leave the discourse here because I think a lot of I saw a lot of it on Twitter. I think it's pretty tired and over talked about at this point. I think the River Ryan stuff, I think he's kind of overvalued. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's a valueless asset because this is a reliever. This is a pitcher who at least should be solid that you're going to have control over. I don't think he's a 0.1 value that baseball trade values has him at. I think that's ridiculous. But I also think that this is an insanely low package because Zahir Hope, top 25 prospect, great addition. Brady Smith is essentially a non-factor. But again, I don't think that River Ryan is that valuable, right? I don't know if Emmett Sheehan would have been the guy. I think there was a version of the trade that was getting reported when it first got leaked that Scooble got traded. That it was Hope, Smith, and Sheehan. That would have been a nice package. Depending on how you like Sheehan. I know some people are higher and some are others. I'm kind of mixed, but
I think he's okay. Like I think that's a better package, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just the thing that I hate about it is Scooble coming on and saying, "Oh, any team could have done it" or whatever. But it's like that's just not true because apparently their ask from the Brewers was Made and Pena, and it's like that's not even close to being in the same stratosphere of the same offer.
Yeah.
Like the Brewers that would have been a scam if that's what it took.
Yeah. Now
compared to what was paid.
To be totally, I'm gonna say something here, right? I think this is a ridiculous underpay. I think this probably could have got beat by like 10 teams. I'm so serious.
Yes,
I think
agree.
8 to 10 teams probably could have beat this offer. When I saw this, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is a ridiculous package, right?
Here's my thing, though. If you take out the Dodgers name and you show someone the trade package based off of age, stats, tools, like everything except for the name and team they're on, I don't think that this package is the one that gets chosen upon other ones that could have happened.
I do.
It's simply because of the Dodgers name, I think, that increases the value of it.
I do. Well, part of it is the Dodgers player development system. They have, you can argue, some of the best player dev in the league. I don't know if I would say. I do think that their prospects do have some generational PR, though. I will say that. I don't know if I'd fully go all. I don't think.
I'm not one of the people that say that. They're paying Baseball America to rank their prospect. I'm not one of those people.
I do think that they have some pretty insane PR. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's the Dodgers' name. I don't think I'd go that far.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's plenty of teams that could have easily beat this offer. I think. And honestly, there's a lot of teams that should have gone for this, gone to beat this, right? I'm gonna name a few teams. So we have an alleged ask from what the Brewers was, right? Apparently they valued Logan Henderson a lot. I think the Brewers could have easily beat this offer. I think the Rays could have easily beat this offer. I think the Braves and the Phillies could have easily beat this. I honestly think the Yankees probably can beat this offer pretty easily.
But the big difference is that from the Dodgers, they weren't asking for like their top 2 prospects, whereas they were from other teams.
To be totally fair, though, I get they're not asking for their top prospects, but to be totally fair, they got an overall top 25 prospect.
Yeah.
Like Hope currently corner pipeline ranks 25th. He ranks higher than a lot of teams' top prospects. Like, he was probably, I think he was like 4th or something in the Dodgers system. He was 5th in the Dodgers system because they had coming into the deadline 5 top 25s. That's insane.
Yeah. but the ass they wanted from the Brewers was the number one prospect in baseball and like the number 18 in baseball. It's not even fair. It's remotely fair.
I get it, but also like now the Brewers just like I guess the whole reason is that they must just value River Ryan more than like a lot of us do. I guess they must see something there, right? Because they still secured like two top 100s. Now again, I think Ryan is a pretty fake top 100, right? But
Yeah.
like for Modern Pena, like this is gonna sound crazy. I don't think that's that insane for Tarek Skubal. I understand it's the one prospect. I understand he is a rental, but I also like he's Tarek Skubal. You know what I
I
mean?
just more so mean for multiple things. Like I just also mean though, like you can't tell me that that's even the remotely the same package.
No, I'm not saying it is, but also I think another thing that you can look at here is that's what they wanted from the Brewers, right? This is what they told Milwaukee. They said, give us this, right? Then you go back to the Dodgers. This doesn't mean that this is what the Brewers offered, and they just chose the Dodgers back here.
Yeah.
This is what they wanted from the
No, I
Brewers,
know.
and the
Yeah.
Brewers said, fuck no, right? Brewers could have easily beat this package without packaging both those two prospects. They
Yeah.
easily could have done it, I think. I think if you want to throw in Pena, I think you can throw in probably Luis Lara too. You throw him in, I think you can do that. I'd argue already that's probably a better package than what the Dodgers gave.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, maybe you do like Jet Williams instead. If maybe you think they like his profile better. I don't know. You
Yeah.
can even throw in some other guys that are like just outside of the like top 100 because I think they have 4 top 100 guys or 5. You can even throw in like a Braylon Payne. You could throw in a Tyson Harden. I think if you threw in like if it was Pena, let's just say Pena, Williams, and Harden. I think that's a better package than what the Dodgers would have given up, and I don't think that that's a crazy trade to make.
Yeah, that's
Because
fair.
also at the same time, it's Tarek Skubal, and this goes for a lot. This doesn't just go for the Brewers. This goes for like a lot of the teams that just didn't go all in, right? I'm gonna like
Yeah.
a team like the Brewers, a team like the Rays. What are you waiting for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, eventually, I understand that they Tarek Skubal would have likely not re-signed with Milwaukee or Tampa Bay had he been traded there, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time, right? How often are you going to do this thing where you hold back all the prospects, everyone's a depth guy, you have amazing depth, maybe you have an elite position player or an elite pitcher depending on what it is, like when they had Yelich or when they had Peralta there, now Miz. When are you just going to push the chips in, right?
Yeah.
Cuz like I feel like if it's one of those times where there isn't a Tarek Skubal available, like imagine, like think about last year, right? I would have understood not doing something like this last year because there wasn't like a top guy available, right?
I just
But
don't think I hate the idea of Made being untouchable though. That's one of the few prospects where I genuinely think that that's not crazy to say. Like obviously it depends on the package. No one is truly untouchable, but like I could really understand why a team who, as it is doesn't like trading their prospects would not want to trade this guy. I mean,
the
he's
other
19
thing
years
is
old.
though, eventually you have to. Okay, I'm not saying it's Made, but eventually you just kind of have to push the chips in
Yeah.
because the Brewers are a fucking machine with this stuff, right? And
Yeah.
it's not every day that a Tarek Skubal level, arguably the best pitcher in the league, becomes available. Well, sorry, not the best pitcher available because guess what? The Brewers have the best pitcher in the league. And guess what? If you trade for Tarek Skubal, again, I think a package of like Luis Pena, Jet Williams, maybe Josh Adams. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. He's the 5th. He's somewhere in the top 100, low end, and like an Andrew Fisher or like a Braylon Payne. That is better than the Dodgers package by a good bit. That
Yeah.
gets you Jacob Mizorowski and Tarek Skubal in one rotation.
Yeah.
Not to mention some of the guys they have behind them, like Shane Drohan's has been pretty good this season. Logan Henderson, Kyle Harrison's been good this year. Like, eventually it gets to a point where a lot of these organizations, I'm using the Brewers as an example, but, you know, it applies to other orgs too. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, because some of these orgs, like the Brewers and the Rays, like, they're fucking prospect developing, player development machines, right? Eventually, you just need to push the chips in. And
I
just
mean, at least
say,
the Rays tried. I mean, they were offering Caminero for Ohtani back when he
they
was still
were.
with the Angels. So that's like, got to give them credit. They tried to do it.
They tried for Ohtani, but also, like, I think the Rays could have definitely also beat this package. And, like, fucking
Yes,
go
but
for
they.
it. I'm not saying they've never done it before, but, like, you gotta, like, eventually you just gotta say, we getting fired anyway already, fuck it. And just
They
go for
wanted
it.
Theo. If the report was that they wanted Theo Gillen, which would make sense, the Rays again, who aren't a franchise who love to part with their prospects, especially for guys that they're gonna have to pay big money. I could understand why that didn't come to fruition.
I'm not saying that I can't understand the rationale. I'm just saying eventually you gotta fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Like, eventually you just need to say fuck it and just go. Like,
Yeah.
you just need to straight go for it, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Like, if you do, honestly, I understand why they wouldn't have wanted to do, like, maybe a Theo Gillen, but if you do Theo Gillen and, like, Nathan Flewelling, I understand that's your top two prospects, and I think that's your top two guys. That's 2 out of your 4 guys in the top 100. Again, I think that's a fucking better package than what the Dodgers gave up. Like, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Like, again, eventually, you just gotta say fuck it. Because, like, what are you waiting for? You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's valid.
I think there's a lot of organizations that just need to just say fuck it and just go for it.
I agree.
It's not it's not like this is like a tier 2 starter. This is arguably the best pitcher in the league. It is not every day that somebody this good becomes available. Right?
Yeah.
I think this is an insane underpay on the package. Not that
But one thing that also sticks out to me is the fact that it was the Tigers that called the Dodgers Saturday night and said, "Hey, let's get it done," which tells me that as well. They also could have gotten a better offer in the next day or two that they just decided, "Hey, let's just get it done now."
Yeah, they got it done early.
I think that the Tigers played this absolutely terrible, and I'm not talking strictly this season. But you look at like the opportunities they've had to trade Scuba last year this offseason, get even more for him, and they decided not to, and then not being anywhere close to
absolutely, or just not capitalizing to make the on the roster this year. Yeah. I gotta say, I fucking love this for the Dodgers. I think it's a credible trade. Hope is a tough loss, but at the same time, you're gonna take a chance. You're gonna take a risk. How are we gonna get rich, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving this like an A for the Dodgers. I'm giving this like I'll give it a C plus for the Tigers.
I agree.
Hope is good. Ryan can be valuable, and Brady Smith is like Brady Smith was throw in, but it's not. You could have definitely done better. Somewhere between 5 and 10 teams could have beat this offer. I'm so serious, and it wouldn't have hurt that much.
I think that almost any team could have beat the offer in theory, but
absolutely.
Then again, a lot of teams would be mortgaging their future, so it gets to a point where it's like, okay, maybe we don't do it.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for some of these teams to, at the very least, not inquire and plan out, okay, could this work?
Yeah. All right. Next move. Sorry, what are your grades on this, by the way? I forgot to ask.
No, I agree. I agree.
Agree
I agree with you. I agree with you for pretty much all of them.
I'm just like that.
Yeah.
Next up, Freddie Peralta to the Rays. This is an interesting one. So, obviously, Peralta hasn't been as good this year, and a lot of the under the hood stuff, like there's some stuff that's okay, but it's not as great as it has been in the past. But a lot of people have said, like, if there's anyone that's gonna fix him, it's the Rays, right?
Yeah.
Like, some of the stuff that's concerning is like his velocity is down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a great start his first time out as a Ray, but then again, his first start since the trade and playing at Coors Field, not a great, combo.
Since like the middle of May, it's been really rough for him.
Yeah, but 3 2/3, 9 hits, 7 earned, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Not ideal regardless of the situation, but I do think it's way too early to be hitting that panic button for the Rays.
I would agree. But what I will say, though, is that the Mets fucking made out insanely good in this trade.
Yeah.
They acquired 3 minor leaguers right now. Outfielder Aiden Smith, second baseman Emilian Petre, I think that's how you say his name, and sorry, did I say second baseman?
I don't know.
Okay,
I just heard outfielder Aiden Smith.
okay, second baseman Emilian Petre. I don't know if I listed something wrong because
Oh,
I don't know. For some reason, I thought I said starting pitcher, and I'm like, he's not.
Yeah, this article just decides, hey, we're not going to show the positions for this trade.
No, I have some of the stuff written in front of me.
Oh,
Like this stuff I have written in front of me. I told you I had the sheet that I didn't finish. This is
yeah.
like one of the last things I put on here. And then starting pitcher, and I love this guy's name, Gary Gilhill. Now,
any relation to someone we know with a similar name?
It could be. Maybe he's hitting the Hill part of his name from us.
Maybe it's his uncle or something.
It could be. Now, you know what I think was crazy? Peralta obviously hasn't been crazy this year. He's been expiring, but the Mets got 3 top 17 prospects from the Rays. I think that is an incredibly good return.
Yeah.
Again, Peralta has not been good this year. A lot of the underlying stuff suggests, like, he just is worse than he was last year. And he's expiring. You got this much for that kind of pitcher is crazy. I think at this point when this trade went down, it was looking a lot, for the most part, I think it was kind of looking like a seller's market. With some exceptions. Scooble.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of the things that made me, at the time the trade went down, went, holy fuck, this is an insane seller's market.
Yeah.
Because this is a crazy return. I'm not going to lie. I think Tampa Bay, they move like a really smart front office a lot of the time. Like, they don't really get fucked over in trades. I think sometimes it's just that they're too passive.
Honestly, I'm really understanding what you're saying, because if they were going to do that for Peralta, why not just, potentially go one step further and just get Scooble?
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
This is a pretty big package for a rental starter, especially one who just hasn't been good. I would think that you would pay something like this for like a tier 2 guy, which when Peralta's on, when he's Freddie Peralta, that's what he is. But he hasn't been that this year. It's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
So, insane return by the Mets. And, like, some of these guys aren't that far away. Like, Petre and Gilhill are both in AA. They're not that far. Petre's 23, Hill's 21, Smith is 22, he's in high A. Like, this is nice. This is a nice return, I gotta say. If I had to give this a grade, I'm giving this, like... This is another one. Like, I give it a C for the Rays, because I think it's a big value overpay. But also for the Mets, I'm giving this like an A, because this is an insane return.
Yeah, I agree.
Insane return. And alright, next one. Big trade here. Jameson Taillon to the Blue Jays. I'm giving this a C. We don't even... Like, it's player to be named later in cash. I'm giving this a C on both sides.
Player to be named later. The Cubs, A+, because that guy is an incredible player. Player to be named later.
I don't know. Cash considerations has been having a crazy year.
Yeah, they're both good, obviously.
Insanely
so
good year.
no matter who they get between the two, they're getting a stud.
Yeah, they are, absolutely. We'll give this a C on both sides and move on. This one, we're going, staying in the AL East with this one. The Yankees getting Luis Garcia. They got they gave up 4 pitchers for Garcia. Jake Bird, Giovanni Cruz, Jack Seabird, I think it's how you say his name, and Ben Grable. Grable. I think it's Grable. Grable and Seabird, or Sebert, I don't know how you say his name. They're both in AA. Cruz is like an MLB, AAA guy. Bird, same thing, AAA, MLB, kind of hugs the line a little bit. Luis Garcia, we've talked about him on the pod. He's having an incredible year, right?
Yeah.
He is, and we talked about this, you sent me a thing about this, and, I think we both knew this, but he's a platoon bat, right? He's a platoon bat.
Yeah.
His numbers on the surface...
I think he's very good, obviously.
His numbers on the surface look
really
fucking good, and that's, because he's been mashing the shit out of righties. When I say platoon bat, this doesn't mean that he's a bench player. He's playing against righties, so that's a lot of fucking pitchers. That's why he's getting so many plate appearances. He has a 149 WRC plus against righties. And overall, he's been one of the legitimately been one of the best power hitters in baseball this year. Um,
Yeah.
he just straight up has, um, yeah, he's just straight up been one of
Yeah.
the top pitchers, power hitters in the league this year.
Yeah,
When,
here's what I said to you. So basically, hypothetically, let's say they play Boston, right?
mhm,
Hypothetically, against left-handed pitching, he has a 66 WRC plus and a 230 xWOBA against lefties.
mhm,
Boston could just say, hey, you know what? We're gonna put out 3 lefty starters. We're just not gonna use Sonny Gray, unless we have to, and we're gonna force you to use your other platoon bat, who
yeah,
is way worse against lefties than Garcia is against righties.
mhm,
And
which he
it's
agreed
not
with.
like the Red Sox would be playing like, for example, Peyton Tolley. He just had 14 strikeouts in 6 innings just now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like if you're throwing out Peyton Tolley over Sonny Gray, you're putting in some like bum.
Absolutely not.
So it's just that's what
It's a
really is
matchup thing.
interesting because their biggest acquisition is a platoon bat.
Yeah, you would in theory in that situation you essentially take a player out of the game who is fifth in ISO and second in slugging in the league. You are taking
Yeah.
away this season a top 5 power hitter just because he just
Yeah.
can't hit lefties. Now, it makes obviously it brings up some bad scenarios, but also let's be honest, Ethan, this is an insanely good value trade for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Because look at everyone they gave up. No, this is a quantity over quality package. I wrote about this. I did an article for Jay's Journal where I basically ranked the top 5 moves within the AL East. And I'm pretty sure I said, I said the best asset that they gave up, it was Seabird. He was their 14th best prospect, right? This is a quantity-based package. None of these guys jump out the page off you. Jump off the, what's the fucking expression? I don't know what it is.
Jump off the page?
Jump off the page, yeah. Jump off the page to you, right? I would argue the Rays gave up more for Freddie Peralta, who's a rental and also has been good. Starter versus position player, I know, but you didn't give up pretty much anything of value, and you got one of the best power hitters in the league. I understand it's platoon bat, but also, like, Jock Peterson was a fucking platoon bat if we want to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was insane. He was insanely good.
I don't think the problem is what they
really
gave
good.
up for him. I think the problem more so is that I don't think the Yankees did enough in general, not just this trade.
Yeah. I would argue that there's other parts of their deadline that weren't good, and a lot of what they didn't do.
Yeah.
But just in terms of this specific trade, this is an A, maybe even an A plus for the Yankees.
I agree.
And I would argue, honestly, this is the package I wouldn't have traded Garcia. I don't see the point in trading him if this is the package.
I completely agree.
I give this like a C- for the Nationals. I think that they could have done so much better. I think they could have done easily better. I mean, we've talked about it on the pod that like, a lot of this stuff seems pretty sustainable too because like he pulls the ball a lot more, the launch angle is a lot more optimal, those kind of things, right? I don't know. I think they could have done a lot better. Next up, everyone pour one out. The Cubs acquiring Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays for outfield prospect Brett Bateman, who he's making the major league debut today, I guess. And
he already has a hit.
He already has a hit. Look at him go.
And a run. Run scored.
Look at him go. And
yeah, that. All I'm saying, since the trade was made, that's more hits than Gausman has. That's all I'm saying.
This is true. This is very true. For and middle infield prospect Ty Southseen. That's how you say his name. Okay. I don't know about you, Ethan. When I saw this, I thought that this was kind of an underwhelming package. And given what some of the other pitchers went for, I do agree still. I think that this went down before a lot of like the Peralta and all that stuff. I think this went down before that. Or maybe it went down after. I can't remember. But overall, Bateman is a fine prospect. You know what I mean? He's a good defensive outfielder. Has a solid floor. But I feel like you could have got more for Gausman. And there's another trade later that happened where I was like, easily.
Yeah, what I saw was that, like, from the speculation is that it had to have just been like a, hey, where do you want to go? He said the Cubs, and that's what happened. it's just it doesn't seem like that would have been the best package they could have gotten.
Because
So that's why I think it was kind of just them asking, "Hey, where do you want to go?" and then doing the guy who loves the city and loves the team and a veteran guy doing him a favor
mhm.
and sending him where he wants to go. I think that's what it had to have been. And if that's the case, that makes it a lot of sense.
If
However,
that was the case, then yeah. I
if
don't.
that's the best you just could have gotten, that's not good.
I just. There's another trade later that really makes me think this isn't the case. I really struggle to believe that this is the best you could have got.
Yeah,
Now I
that's why
understand.
that's why it makes me think that he just asked to go to the Cubs.
Yeah,
That's really why I think that.
I understand that Kevin Gausman has not been as good as he was in 2025, right? With that said, he's still been really fucking good. 350 field independent pitching, even some of the advanced stuff like skill independent ERA. Sierra is not that much different than it was last year. The walk rate is still really good. He's still getting guys to chase. A plus strikeout rate. Plus, he has a playoff track record too. I think this could have gotten you like a low end top 100 prospect. Like legitimately, that's what I thought
agree.
before the deadline. And again, there's another trade later where I'm going to say, "Holy fuck, this is the first thing I thought of was the Kevin Gausman trade." I feel like you could have easily got more for him, and you didn't. You didn't even get a top 15 prospect in the Cubs org, by the way. I think Southazine was 17. I think he was the higher ranking of the two prospects.
But again, it's one of those things, like I said, with based off of their profiles, they're very high floor guys, low ceiling, because they're guys who use their contact, defense, speed to get to where they are, and it's not like they're relying on being able to crush the ball or hit home runs, as you can obviously tell by the little amount of home runs they've hit. I mean, you know, um, you look at, I think it was Bateman's stats, and he has in like I don't know how many plate appearances, but I saw a thing where he had like uh 6 career home runs in the minor leagues in like 1,300 plate appearances, and Southern has none in like 600 or something like that. So it's clear the kind of players they got in this trade were guys who were just high average, relatively high on base, speed guys with defense rather than guys who you're relying on, to hit the ball hard where there's a lot more variables. So
I hear
I
you.
do think that it's a bit better. Like, I don't think the package is great, but it's definitely like it's skewed because their stats, their profile isn't going to play to be a top 100 prospect, but they are built to have a higher floor than the average top 100 prospect.
Well, even then, like I feel like at that point you could have gotten like a James Triantos. I think you could have even got like a Kane Kepley.
No, I agree. I'm not
You know what I
disagreeing, but I'm
mean?
saying that I think that
I think
that's like,
even going just I understand what you're saying. Like it is they are objectively
yeah,
higher floor players and higher ceiling, but even in this direction, I feel like you could have gotten better, even based off of this
yeah,
profile. I would have done Gosman for Kepley 1-for-1 probably. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm 12 days older than Kane Kepley. My God. Um.
Oh, yeah, you want to talk about age, buddy.
Yeah. All right, man. Um. But like I still like I'm not saying that neither of these guys can be impactful players, but I genuinely just think you could have gotten more. And the market
Yeah,
around a
no, I
lot of the other
agree.
starters, I think I still stand by it after seeing some of the market for the others for a lot of the other starters. Not only do I still believe that, I believe it even more than I already did. You know what I mean? I think it's like even more so
Yeah.
now. But yeah, for the Cubs, I'll give this a B plus. Honestly, no, I'm gonna give it an A minus. I think it's a really good deal for the Cubs. I don't really like this deal for the Blue Jays that much. I feel like a C. No, I'm gonna give it a C minus. I think you totally could have done better
Yeah,
than this.
I agree.
Like, hopefully they'll be solid. Hopefully Bateman is, I mean, hey, more hits than Goggins is the trade. But like, you could have done better than this. And we'll talk about some of the other stuff when we get there. But whew, you could have so done better than this.
Yeah.
Next trade: Tyler Mahle going to the Braves for righty prospect Anthony Molina.
Yeah, that doesn't
Ugh,
really do anything for me.
I don't really like. You
That one
didn't.
doesn't get me hard.
It really does. Like you didn't really give anything up. Like I guess Anthony Molina is like a nothing asset. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like Tyler Mahle is also not that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's, a very good team just getting depth. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna hate on it, obviously, but it's just not a trade that I see and it gets me like excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't get you aroused. I hear what you're saying here.
No.
It gets you a bunch of other things, but that's not one of them. But like, yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say that you were gonna get like a top 30 prospect for him. Obviously, you
Like
weren't.
like words out of the park, it gives me indigestion.
In that, maybe some ridiculous shit, bro. Ridiculous shit be going down
I have a weird feeling about this, but it could just be indigestion.
there. What would I even give this? Like, I don't know, C plus for the Braves and like a C for the Giants.
Yeah,
Maybe C both
I think that's
sides even.
fair.
Actually, no. I'm gonna say C on both sides because I think this is such a nothing trade.
Yeah.
This one is really interesting. The White Sox getting Huascar Brazoban, Mets getting two pitching prospects, righties Gabe Davis and Zach Franklin. Well, I guess I don't think Franklin's technically a prospect. I think he lost that status, but
Yeah, I mean, I like
um,
that for the White Sox a lot.
it's not bad.
Definitely just building on a solid team and a good year for them. Getting a guy who will give you good innings out of the bullpen.
Hmm.
I definitely think that is good for the White Sox. Like, I think Brazoban's a very good relief pitcher.
Yeah, he's been really good. He is controllable. Now, obviously, the thing is also he's 36, so I don't think the control matters
Yeah,
the same way someone who's like 28. But he's been
it's
ridiculous
yeah,
this year. He throws 96. He throws hard. Nobody hits anything hard off of him. His barrel hard hit rates are 99th percentile. His ground ball rate 91st percentile. Incredible pickup for the White Sox and the Mets. I mean, you got something solid for him. I know he's really good, but again, he is 36. You got now your 20th prospect for him, Gabe
yeah.
Davis, which is good. And another like AAA, you can probably MLB ready arm and Zach Franklin. Just he's a depth piece. Really, that's all he is. Probably a throw in, I would say.
And for what the Mets are, I mean, you'll take what you can get at
You
that this
will
season. Like
because
whatever you get this season, whatever. It's not.
yeah, because you have no guarantee that Brazoban's going to be this good going into the future. Because next year he's going to be 37, right?
Yeah.
I do like it for both sides. I think both sides did make out pretty well in this. I'd probably give it like an A minus for the White Sox and like a B plus for the Mets.
I agree. Yeah.
Something like that. I think that makes a lot of sense there. The next trade, I'm not talking about Nolan Hoffman. Big trade. So I woke up on, was this on the Monday or was it on the Sunday? I can't remember. I think it was on the Monday. And I look and I get this notification from Jeff Passan and he goes, breaking. Blue Jays are getting Jose Soriano from the Angels. The package being Arjun Amala, outfielder, Eddie Micheletti, and righty Angel Rivero. Now, this was big, right? We kind of said that the Blue Jays are one of those teams that can do a little bit of both, buy and sell, and this is, what they did. It's pretty much exactly the way their deadline went is more or less exactly how we said it was going to go. In terms of just strictly the approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soriano, big move. I didn't think that the Angels were actually going to trade like Soriano.
I didn't think we were going to be the team to get Soriano if he was moved.
No. But I will say, I think this is I do think that, number one, overall, by the way, I'm going to say this a lot for the Angels. I think the Angels made out really well this whole deadline. I think they're one of the teams that I would say made out better than a lot of other teams, which I did not think I was going to say.
It's just also with their player development, though, who knows what's actually going to happen with these guys that are good prospects.
This is
That's
true,
the big question mark.
But it's better than, waiting.
Yes, no, I agree. No, I 100% agree. Yes.
Wasting, these guys doing the same
I
thing.
agree. Like, I think that in terms of value, it's great. It's just, are they going to be able to maximize the value of these players they're getting? Are they going to be, is Zamala going to be able to be the same player that he would develop into had he just stayed a J, for example? We don't know.
Yeah, obviously we'll see what happens on that front. I'm not going to speculate too much on that, just because I don't really think that I don't think I could do that, right? Just because I can't tell you any of that, right? Namala is a good prospect.
Yeah.
He has plus pop. He has a plus arm. Solid defense on the middle infield. Will probably develop into a major league shortstop if everything goes right. With plus pop, that's going to be a fucking insanely valuable player. Which is an insanely good get for the Angels. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I feel like Soriano is such a perfect player for the Blue Jays, right? they would before the deadline they would have been going into next season with a guaranteed rotation of Dylan Cease, Trey Savage, and Cody Ponce. Cody Ponce like your 5.
Yeah.
Realistically, you have Cease, and then you gotta hope Savage takes the next step, which you don't know that for fact, right? You would like to think so, but you don't know for fact.
Yeah.
I think that this is pretty good value to trade for Jose Soriano. Really, the only one that hurts is Arjun Amala. The other two don't care, right? Genuinely, like, who cares?
Yeah, and I remember having this conversation with somebody earlier in the year. I remember before the season started, we were talking, like, it was in a group chat, and I said, like, I have nothing to base this off of, but I think that there's an 80% chance that Namala gets moved this year. And I was thinking, like, my thought process was that, like, the Jays are going to be a team that would want to buy, obviously not the case necessarily, and that I think that they value a guy like Parker more, and Sanchez has a better hit tool in my opinion. Like, there's other guys that I think have higher ceilings than Namala, and I think that it was just kind of like he was the odd guy out. And I'm fine giving him up if you're trading for a controllable talent.
Yes.
Especially a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And with knowing it's Soriano, I am perfectly fine with trading him for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
he's at worst going to be your third best pitcher at worst.
Yeah, realistically, he probably slots in next year. He's probably your 2 behind Cease. Cease is your 1, Soriano is your 2, Trey's your 3. If everything goes right, that's a ridiculously fucking good 1, 2, 3.
And then your 4 and 5, you got Ponce, you got a couple different prospects. You got Tiedemann if he can stay healthy, but unfortunately, I think he's just going to be a reliever.
If Nolan Perry
kind of like what Pearson was. Nolan Perry, oh my god, I absolutely love Nolan Perry.
He's been a big riser. He could get a call next year potentially.
I don't think it's crazy to say. I don't think he's going to start with the team, obviously, but no, I don't think it's crazy to say that by like June or July he is getting starts.
Definitely possible if Johnny King fast tracks. You could see him next year. Maybe see him.
Yeah,
I think more
you have
28, but as opposed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then obviously not to mention that the free agency, and if there's a lockout, that's 2 years of free agents. I mean, you could bring Gossman back. You can get another guy. Like, there's a chance that the 4 starter's not even currently on the team. Like, there is so much you can do with the rotation, and the fact that you have a guaranteed 1, 2, 3, and obviously that's not even set in stone. You can get a guy that could be your number 2 or 3 as well, like an even better pitcher for all you know.
Theoretically, yeah.
So, just the fact that at worst, your 3 best pitchers at worst are Cease, Savage, and Soriano, that's a great rotation to start with, base of a rotation.
I don't think it's out of the question that, like, your rotation next year is Cease, Soriano, Trey, you re-sign Gossman, and then you run Ponce at your 5. And then, obviously, Arrighetti wasn't on the team yet when this trade was made, but, you put him in.
That's a guy that just slipped my mind there. We just got him, and I wasn't even thinking of a potential 4 or 5 starters. Like, that's another option.
But yeah, I think both teams made out really well. I think that this is good value. I think you didn't give up, like, a crazy amount. Again, losing Namala sucks, but
it's not like you gave up Namala and then a bunch of other guys who were your top 10 prospects.
Exactly.
You gave up, you gave up Namala and then a guy, a prospect who's, I think, 25, 26 years old in Micheletti. Like, he's not, like, a young guy by any means. Like, it's definitely, like, a solid package, but not a crippling package that ruins your farm system or ruins your player development by any means.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, Ethan, what do I like to say? What do I like to say about risks?
I mean, you gotta take them if you want it. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're important.
You have to do
obviously.
it. You have to do it.
You have to.
And
if you want assets, you got to give up assets.
Exactly. If you don't take a risk, how are we gonna get rich, right? It's not gonna happen. And just giving, like, the only big piece here is Namala. The other 2 are essentially, non-factors. They don't really matter that much. Maybe they turn out well for the Angels, but, like, for the Blue Jays, like, they don't really matter in this case.
Yeah.
But again, for a legit front end arm with 2.5 years of control left, like, that's really good. That's really good value.
I think this is an A for both teams. This has probably been the best trade so far in terms of even value for both teams. I absolutely love what they're getting back.
Like, high end talent too.
Yes.
Because there are probably more finesse, teams where they were more even, but this also corresponds
Yes.
both
That's what I mean.
sides
Like,
got something really fucking good.
yes, like the Jays get a controllable starting pitcher that is very good now and is not like old to the point where, in 2 or 3 years he's going to be out of the league or very close to it. And the Angels are getting a guy, a prospect who's automatically their number one hitting prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not one of those people who are just going to trash him now that he's, you know, not on the team. But I always, I've liked Namala. I think he's going to be a very solid player. I don't think he's going to be like a superstar, but I think he has the tools to be a very solid player, an everyday starter, like in the next 2 or 3 years, making his debut and then getting starts, 2029, 2030 as an everyday guy. I could see as a very likely scenario.
I think if his defense at shortstop develops the way you'd like, I think he's a really sneaky 5-win player.
Yeah, he's a decent defender. He's not elite, but like as he ages, I feel like that's something that could mature along with his power. Like he's been seeing a jump in power year to year as well.
If he can just become just like a solid defensive shortstop, if he has plus power, even just solid defense at shortstop is extremely valuable, right?
Yes.
With really good power, Pipeline says 60 grade power. That's really good. That's a really valuable player. I think he could legit again sneaky 5-win player if everything goes the way you want it to. And honestly, if everything goes the way you want it to, it's obviously better than that. But I think if things go like that, that's like great.
Yeah, I think his floor is good enough to make him like a guy who gets like 80, 90 minimum starts a season and is a solid, like that's his floor. His floor is a semi everyday player. Just because of what I think that his value can bring. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be a superstar or anything, necessarily. Yeah. But, I definitely like his tools. I think that he's going to be solid, and I thought that he was going to be solid when he was a J. It's not like I'm just, saying that now. Like, nothing has changed. My opinion on him hasn't changed, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's an A for both teams, though.
Yeah, I would agree. The next one is the Phillies getting Luis Arias for pitching prospects, Caleb Killian, and this is the big one, Ramon Marquez. Ramon Marquez, big piece to give up in this trade.
I don't love that. I do think that Arias is good and he helps the Phillies, but at the same time, that's one where it's like, ooh, like I think Marquez is a very, very good prospect.
Yeah, and again, like, this is a rental. I'm pretty sure Marquez, he's top 100. Is he top 100 on Baseball America? I know he's not on Pipeline. I think he's top, or maybe he was coming into the season. I'm not sure. Let me double check this because I remember seeing something about he's top 100 somewhere. Or honestly, it might be the TJ stats thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, he's not on Baseball America, but
he's 88.
I mean, he's 88
on TJ stats. That's where I was thinking of. Which, to be fair, that guy is fucking smart as hell.
But I think he's a tremendous prospect. I mean,
top 100 caliber.
He doesn't walk a lot of guys, which at this level and age is rare. Strikeout. He struck out 46 batters, walked 9 in 30 innings in High A so far this year.
The key is that changeup.
Yeah.
70 grade changeup according to Pipeline.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Batters just get overwhelmed by him. I mean, a 180 WOBA, 177 slugging, 198 on base, just one home run in 30 innings. Like, he's not giving up any hard contact. And again, that doesn't mean he'll translate to be a Cy Young pitcher in the majors. But I do think he's a steep price for Luis Arias, as good as he has been this year.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with him. For Arias, this is a good pickup for the Phillies. You needed another guy who's slotted on that infield. Ideal world, you get off of Alec Boehm or something, and then you can shuffle it around like that. You Stott goes to third, Arias second, maybe get an outfielder, someone else plays first. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing, I guess. But
yeah,
Arias at second this year has been a plus defender. We'll see if that continues with the Phillies. I don't really see anything. Sorry, Killian went to the Phillies. I just realized I misspoke and I said he went to the Giants. That's my bad. I misspoke on that. Doesn't really change what I think about the trade that much, but um,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the other day, a game against the Nationals. I think one of the games. I'm pretty sure he pitched. I think it was the one against, like the one that my
so,
and he gave up like 4 runs in like a third inning. It wasn't great.
yeah, no, not spectacular, but yeah, I just think that giving up Ramon Marquez is a bit much. They also gave up Matty
Yeah,
Garrett, but he's not really, he's pretty much he's not that valuable of an asset. Doesn't really matter that much. Um, but yeah, I think just giving that up, I do think it's maybe a bit much to give up. I guess the fact that you're getting 2 players kind of helps soothe it a little bit, but yeah,
yes,
it's not a bad move for the Phillies by any means. I think it's maybe a bit excessive, but Arias, you needed someone who could hit. You needed some offense there. I would have liked to see them go for an outfielder. I think they kind of needed outfield help, and they didn't really do that. But in a vacuum, I think this trade is fine for the Phillies. It gets maybe like a B minus. For the Giants,
yeah.
I give it a B plus.
For the Giants, I give it an A, like an A. Honestly, I think that I just am really high on Ramon Marquez, and I was before the trade. Looking at because I was just looking at the Phillies pipeline like a little bit ago, and he stuck out to me, and then I kind of followed him a bit. I think that he is very good, and I think that that is the most valuable piece in the trade. However, obviously, he's not helping the Phillies this year, which is why they made the trade.
Yeah,
But I think that the Arise return, like Arise, solid player, helps that team out. So I think obviously that would help the Phillies. That's why I'm going to give them a B plus. But I'm just high on Marquez, so I think an A is fair, especially because the Giants got a haul for a guy that probably was not had no plans to be in there. Like they had no plans for him
no,
to be part of their future.
absolutely not. Next trade, the Phillies getting Brooks Raley for Luke Gabrish. I'm gonna hope that's how you say his name. And John Spikerman. Um, I saw some people, some Mets fans, coming in and they were saying how they got nothing for Brooks Raley. And I have a question.
Yeah,
Who do y'all think Brooks Raley is? Who do you guys think he is? I want
yeah.
to, and first off, I want to clarify. He is good, right? Brooks Raley has been good this year.
But he's also 38 years old.
Yes, and he's a rental. He's a
Yes.
38-year-old rental reliever. He was never going to get you some big haul. He was never going to get you a team's top 10 prospect, right? You got a low-end top 30 prospect and another, guy in there too who, solid. That's fine, right? He's also playing a little bit above his peripherals, I would say.
Yeah.
Like on paper, like the under the hood stuff doesn't like him as much as it did last year, just because he wasn't walking as many guys last year, right?
Yeah, I mean his whip jumped off like .30 this year.
He's walking a whole extra batter per 9 innings this year. With that said, he's still been good, but again, he's a rental reliever. He's 38. Both those things are very true. Now, you were never going to get team's top 10 prospect for him. Top 30 totally makes sense. Low-end top 30. This is not a very valuable trade asset. It's a valuable asset for the Phillies who want to go make a playoff push and they need a bullpen arm.
Right.
It's valuable for them, but it's not a valuable trade asset because who fucking knows if, number one, Brooks Raley's even going to be on the team next year, if he's even going to be playing baseball next year.
He could be a family man.
And even if he is, he's 39 next year.
Yeah.
39 next year. So I don't understand this. Like, how did you let the Phillies finesse you for Brooks Raley? I saw someone say, oh my god, hold on, because I responded to the tweet. I need to find this really quick. I remember seeing something along the lines of, God, I need to find this tweet, because this was ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. It was basically saying, like, how do we let a division rival finesse us for Brooks Raley? And I'm like, y'all.
It's Brooks Raley, dude. Relax.
Like, Brooks Raley?
I'm sure, you know.
Brooks fucking Raley, come on, bro.
I'm sure that that's probably very close to the best he would have gotten.
Yeah, like what kind of market do y'all think Brooks Raley had? Like
Yeah.
this is a fine package. He was never gonna get you anything. Probably like a B for the Mets, B plus for the Phillies. I think no matter what, the
Yeah.
Mets were never gonna win a trade with Brooks Raley in it, just because again, there's not much value there.
But you're also not really gonna lose one because it's Brooke Raley. It's Brooks
Yeah,
Raley. It's like
like no matter what you get, like you're gonna get something fine. You know, Spider-Man's fine. Your wish, I'm sure that makes up close to equal value because there isn't much value there. Trade value, you know
yeah.
what I mean? I don't know. I'll give it a B plus for the Phillies, B for the Mets. Next one we have up on our list, we have Joe Adell to the Guardians. This was interesting. I mean, it makes sense, you know, when you look at it. I wasn't ready to see Joe Adell trade notification pop up. Now, Adell
I thought they should trade him last year at last year's deadline.
wouldn't have been, or in the offseason.
Yeah, that too. But especially at the deadline where his value was maxed out that early
Yeah.
offseason. Like, and that's the problem with the Angels. It's that, you know, they have been sorting out. They did a good job there, obviously. I'll give them credit. However, they haven't been consistently doing that where, you know, they're maximizing the value for their players and they let them walk and get nothing for them. And that's one of the problems and one of the reasons why they have not been a competitive baseball team since the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Now, with this, right? Adell is here to do one thing. He is here to hit left-handed pitching. He's platoon bat. Do you want to guess his WRC plus against righties and then against lefties?
Is it like a legitimately big discrepancy or is it?
Oh, it's massive.
All right, so I'm gonna guess his WRC plus against lefties is like 160, and then against righties, let's say like 70.
Against lefties, it's 150. Against righties, 63.
Pretty close, honestly.
Against lefties, he's like legitimately hitting like a mid to low end MVP candidate. Against righties, he's not a major league player this season.
Yeah.
That's
Not to mention defense.
Yeah, and he's not, you know, he's not super into that. Not super great on
He
that.
had the greatest defensive performance in a single game that any athlete has ever had, probably, but
True. His overall numbers for the season don't look as great because he's played so much against righties who he's just not good against, but the value in this trade comes from the fact that he's likely, I would think, only going to be really playing against left-handed pitching. I don't really see why he would play against righties like that. Even last year, I don't even think he was. Yeah, last year he was a big like lefty killer too. He was better against righties last year. He was like more or less average, but like, you know, that's kind of what it was. Platoon bat. That's all it is, right? They gave up Jacob Cozart. Again, this is solid get for the Angels, considering Adell didn't really have much trade value, I would say, right now. Because again,
just waited too long.
Again, platoon bat doesn't have much value, even with an extra year control. Platoon bat. This is a good deal, I think, for them. Cozart slides into he's a catcher. He slides into their prospect system. He is 19th on their prospect ranking right now. That's not bad. That's not bad. You got a top 20 prospect for a platoon bat. Top 20 in your system, I should say. I think everyone could make that distinction, but you know, top 20 prospect in your system for a straight platoon bat is really good. Like I think that's actually a really good deal.
For sure.
Continuing the trend of Angels
working
out really well.
Again, could have gotten more if you maximize the value.
You could have, but you know, we're
still
here.
Made out pretty.
You did. You could have again if you traded him in the offseason, you would have got more. But at the same time, we're here. You know what I mean? You can't undo that. All you can do is work on right now, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of right now, just this trade in a vacuum, pretty good for the Angels, I would say. I think, you know, did good for the Guardians, too. They got more or less what they needed. I would probably say B plus for the Angels, B for the Guardians.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Next up, we got Taylor Ward going to the Mariners. I didn't see this coming. I'll be honest with you.
Me neither.
I didn't see it coming. I thought the Orioles were going to try and buy a little more than they sold. We kind of.
I'm still surprised they didn't get Michael Wacha. Can't lie.
Mike Elias, you let us down.
He did.
You let us down.
I mean, honestly, that's different for Mike Elias. Usually, he's used to letting Orioles fans down, not Jays fans.
Honestly, bro. Like, you had a chance. You didn't do it. So, we'll see. Overall, so the Mariners gave up, I think 3 players. How many players is this? They gave up 3 players. They gave up 3 right-handed pitchers. None of them are that crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You weren't going to get anything crazy for Taylor Ward because, again, he's a rental outfielder. Not as heavy splits as an Adele, or earlier we talked about Luis Garcia. There was another outfielder who fit into that mold. I can't remember who it was that we talked about. I already forgot who it is, but Lane Thomas, that's who it was.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? He can probably play a little bit more every day if you want him to. However, when he gets that shot against lefties, he's in there. He has over a 400 OBP against lefties this year.
Yeah.
Big thing. And for the Mariners, who, this is a solid get for them. I would argue they could have done other things to be better, but in a vacuum, I think it was a solid trade for the Mariners.
I like it.
I don't love it for the Orioles just because, I
just don't understand. Again, I'm not going to get into the Grayson Rodriguez aspect of the trade, but it's just, I didn't think they were going to give up on Ward that easily.
I think you have to, and I think, honestly, this isn't the only case where I'd say this. I think you need to kind of eliminate that aspect.
Oh, hold on. I just got a text from Trey saying, take Hoffman back.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I just got another text from Trey. Nails, never mind.
Oh, they'll learn.
Oh, I see. He walked a guy and then walked another guy and then hit a guy.
And then let me guess, he struck out the side or double play or something like that. He got
2 strikeouts. Yeah.
Hoffman outing. But yeah, I think for when it comes to Taylor Ward, and there are other players who kind of fit this description as well. I don't really think I don't really think it makes sense to consider not that it doesn't make sense, but I don't really think that it's worth considering the Grayson Rodriguez aspect of it because, again, like the Joe Adele thing, we're here now, right?
Yes.
I can't think about 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Just because at this moment in time, what I'm really worried about is maximizing everything that's currently on the table, right? Maximizing what's currently in my hand. I can't worry about the card that I played 5 turns ago, right? I can't be thinking about that anymore because it's not there anymore. I don't have it. I have to work with what I have right now. And
exactly.
I think they made out fine. I don't love the package. I don't think they finessed the Mariners or anything. Did they get Felice? No, I don't think so. I think the Mariners got the better end of the deal, probably by a bit, I would say. Probably maybe not a full letter grade, but probably a plus to a minus kind of thing. A B plus to a B minus sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I would give the trade, but that kind of idea. But I don't really think about the Grayson Rodriguez aspect in this case, just because again, that was whatever it was 8 months ago. This is now. You can't Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah.
We're no longer thinking about him if we're the Orioles.
Right.
No longer on the table. I would give this advantage to the Mariners though, probably a B plus. I'd give this maybe a B minus for the Orioles. So funny, I said that I don't know if that's what I grade the trade, and that's exactly what I graded it.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing. What would you say?
No, I agree with that. I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah. All right, so next one. Do you want to talk about Josh Smith and Adam Macko?
Not really.
Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Liam Hicks to the Rays. This is a crazy trade. So,
my guy, Liam Hicks.
Liam Hicks, Canadian.
North Toronto Athletic legend.
I want to get this out of the way really quick. I think the Rays made out crazy good in this trade. Insanely well. Now, Liam Hicks, he's been a plus hitter this year. I think he's around a 115, 120 WRC plus as it stands right now. I wrote about this trade in an article I did for Jay's Journal, ranking those
Check it out.
moves. Go check it out. 121 WRC plus on the year. There's a lot of things that he just does pretty solid, right? He's not like elite at anything. He's elite at like not striking out. He's a smart hitter, right? He pulls fly balls. That's where a lot of his offensive capability comes from. That's why he overperforms his ex-Woba in the way that he does. With that being said, I don't think he profiles as a catcher long term. Probably more of a first base DH guy. Which again he's going to be solid at either one of those. Even if he's a catcher, him and Nick Cortez, that's a solid tandem you have. One is more defense oriented, one's more offense. But still, man, he's good. And you know what the other thing is, Ethan? You know how long they have him under control for?
How long?
Through 2030.
Not bad at all.
And the other thing, he's 27. And the Rays didn't really give up anything that crazy. Braden Taylor was the biggest asset they gave up. And let me double check where he ranks in the Marlins system. He ranks 10th in the Marlins system. That's the biggest asset you gave up for, 4.5 seasons of a plus hitting catcher / first baseman, DH, whatever. Plus, like a plus hitter. I think that the Rays kind of finessed the Marlins. I can't lie. I don't even like the idea of trading Liam Hicks as a whole. But if the package was there, good. But it wasn't there. I think this is a crazy trade for the Marlins. Like, I can't lie. Like, I think the Rays absolutely finessed them.
Yeah, and I saw some people defend it, like Marlins fans saying how it's like, we have enough, we have a better catching prospects or whatever. Which, first of all, I don't really know if that's true.
Like, they have to really believe in Aramis.
Augustin Ramirez?
Yeah, Augustin. I don't know why I said Aramis. I say that as if I haven't talked up Augustin Ramirez on this podcast before. Because you don't have a single catcher in your top 30 prospects. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Right? Not a single one. Your organizational catching depth is not that great. It is like Hicks. It's Ramirez. It's not that crazy. I didn't really see what the consensus was on the trade.
Yeah.
But this is not, something like that. Unless you do you really like Joe Mack that much? Like, are you that in love with Joe Mack? Like, I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have traded Liam Hicks this early, though. You know what I mean? I guess you're cashing in on, because I think they got him Rule 5, right? I'm pretty sure they had got him Rule 5, I think. But, man, I think this is kind of a quick cash out. I don't know. I just don't like it for the Marlins. I really don't like it for the Marlins. I really think this trade is insanely good for the Rays.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of just a strict, value perspective, I think that the Rays, this is one of, the Rays end of this is, one of the best ends of any deal all deadline.
Yeah.
I think this is a clear A, maybe even A+ for the Rays, and I see, C, maybe C. No, I go C-. I go probably A for the Rays, C- for the Marlins.
I fully agree. I think Liam
A+.
Hicks is a very solid player, and I think that
he's good.
Yeah, I think he has hit where he's even going to be at. I think he can be even better.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we'll talk about Robbie Ray next. Ethan, give us the rundown on this.
Robbie Ray. So, talked about him before. There were a lot of different places that we thought he could end up, obviously, but he ends up going to San Diego, to the Padres, and it's Miguel Mendez and Joniel Hernandez as the return. Robbie Ray, obviously, the Cy Young season is a couple of years removed. However, he's not bad. You look at the numbers, and on the surface, they look good, and then you dig deeper, and it's like, okay, there's nothing that's really sticking out that tells me, okay, he's a great pitcher. But the thing is, even if you're, outperforming your expected statistics, you want a guy that's going to help you now.
Mm-hmm.
he's pitching well enough to the point where the Padres figure they can go after him, and he could be a part of this rotation as they make a push. And they have guys already in the rotation who are good, like Michael King. Um, and obviously they just brought in Casey Mize, who did get lit up in his first outing as a Padre, but he's still a solid pitcher. Definitely making this rotation more serviceable. It's not a great rotation, but the bullpen is really the bread and butter of the pitching staff. So as long as you can, keep it close getting to the bullpen, then you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think Robbie Ray is a guy who will do just that. He'll give you the bare minimum at worst. He's going to put you in a position where when he leaves the game, as long as the offense isn't a black hole, then you have a chance at winning the game. I think that's the big thing for me there with the Padres getting Robbie Ray. And the Giants are getting a couple prospects who Mendez is now their 14th prospect, and Hernandez is their 21st. So definitely getting back value. Miguel Mendez has a 60 grade fastball, 60 grade slider. He's definitely an intriguing prospect, although he gives up a ton of walks and hits. So it's like, obviously he's raw. But at 24 years old and high A, I don't really know what his path looks like. Mm-hmm. It's really tricky. Hernandez, however, I think is probably where you're going to hope pans out more. As he is 17 and is looking obviously good in rookie ball, but so soon to say. But he has a 45 grade hit tool with 50 power, and he's got, decent arm, good fielding, really good base runner at 17 years old. Very, very raw, but there's a lot to like. I think that both teams kind of did what they set out to do in this trade. I think that, the Giants give it, the fact that it's Robbie Ray and it's somebody who is up there in age and is on the last year and is a pure rental, I think that is a good return for him.
Yeah, I think the Giants made out really well.
Padres, I agree. I don't think the Padres did poor.
No, because they needed a starter. They needed honestly multiple
I'm inclined
starters.
to give the Padres a B minus, C plus, and then the Giants like a B.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a C minus because I don't think Robbie Ray's that good.
No,
and also you did give up a decent bit, but at the same time you needed a starter, and Robbie Ray, has objectively just been getting results this year. For the Giants, B plus. Honestly, I think it's a really good trade for them. I think they made out really well for someone who I don't really, again, I don't think he's that valuable a trade asset, Ray. Granted, I think they're covering part of the salary for the rest of the year, so that helps, obviously, but really good return for the Giants, I think. All right. Fucking Chris Bubich to the Dodgers. Already Carlos Durant. Bro, the Dodgers got it, man. They just got it, bro.
I mean, the Dodgers are one of the few teams in baseball that I think need starting pitching, especially based off of what they hadn't done up at this point of the deadline, right? Mm-hmm. So getting a guy like Chris Bubich is a huge move for the Dodgers, who are, on the fringe trying to make a late, wild card push, maybe win a round.
Especially, a team was short of starters. They don't really have that many guys, you know what I mean?
Especially left-handed starters.
Yeah, they really don't. Even, lefty starters, they don't really have anyone at that top end, on the middle end even.
Coming from the AL Central. I mean, that's definitely the best left-handed pitcher from the AL Central they could have gone.
Yeah, they weren't going to get anybody else, you know what I mean?
Skubal, the Tigers just were never going to trade him.
No.
In all seriousness, I don't, how much more help do they need?
Yeah, I mean, this is really, he's on the 60-day right now, so, obviously right now, it's not.
But, still, you know what I mean? It's just,
I know what you're saying.
Why?
Yeah, it's what the hell? What's even going on? All right, man, I guess. Objective, I think, good trade for the Dodgers, because who they gave up? They gave a literal nothing asset.
Yeah.
Literally nothing asset here. Um, so, I mean, I guess I'll say I'll say B plus because there's literally a no risk. It's literally an only upside move. I'll say like a C for the Royals.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I guess
No, you
there
know
was
what? D for the Royals for giving them more pitching.
yeah, just because it's
Fuck
Dodgers.
you.
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you guys.
Fuck you.
Fuck you guys. Next up.
We're very unbiased here, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, very. Very very big trade that I wasn't expecting. The Red Sox getting Adley Rutschman. Now, Ethan, were you following like the news of this trade developing when it was happening?
Yes.
So it got first reported that this trade like was going down at like 12.
Yes, and like 3 hours later or 4 hours later, it's like, okay, now it just happened.
For like 2-3 hours, all the reporters were saying like, yeah, they're working towards it. They're getting really close. And they kept saying the same thing for like 3 hours. And then finally at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that, finally the trade ends up being done. And they see the package gets announced. I don't know about you, Ethan. Obviously, the Red Sox were a team that kind of needed a catcher. Right? Their catching situation has not been good this year. And Adley has been one of the better catchers in the league this year. He's, I think, top 5 in F4 among catchers. If I remember correctly. However, holy fucking haul for the Orioles, bro. Insane haul that they just got.
It's really just going to come down to what Adley Rutschman are the Red Sox getting. Are they getting the Adley Rutschman that has shown that he is still a very good hitter and a very good catcher? Or are they getting the Adley Rutschman that showed a decline for a couple years straight and looking like a shell of his former self, why he was drafted first overall?
Mm-hmm.
If they're getting this version of Adley, I think that the haul is worth it. Much as it is a haul, I think it is worth it.
I think that, again, like, he has been one of the better catchers in the league this year. Over the past 5 years, he's put up almost, a little over 17 WAR. He's rebuilt his value this year. On pace for a little over 5 WAR per 650 plate appearances this year, right?
Yeah.
Now, with the haul that the Orioles got, though, they got a top 50 prospect in the league, and I think they got 2 other prospects who now rank as their 6th and 7th prospect.
Yeah.
And they got Carlos Narvaez on top of that. Oh my god.
It's a good, like, that's a definition of a win-win. Again, obviously that's if you're getting this version of Adley. It's fully dependent on that.
That's a haul. Oh, also, by the way, remember Jake Rogers? He went to Boston in this trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember him? Yeah, I understand what you're saying when you say it's a win-win because, like, objectively, the Red Sox filled a hole that they needed to do, right? But, oh my god, they gave up so much.
They did.
Like, I know I'm playing both sides here because I do say, what are you waiting for? You gotta push the chips in, right? But at the same time, I'm like, dude. I think there's maybe 3 players in this trade that you just didn't have to include.
But I'm going to say it's a B plus for the Red Sox and A plus for the Orioles.
I think A plus for the Orioles. I'm going to say C for the Red Sox because I think, honestly, in terms of a strictly value perspective, you could convince me that it's a D trade.
The B plus is best case scenario in the sense of, like, if the prospects do pan out decently, not like superstars or anything, and Adley Rutschman is this version of Adley Rutschman, that's what I'd say. Mm-hmm. But I also think that if, any of those prospects emerge as something insane and Adley Rutschman isn't really this version of Adley Rutschman, then that could change to, like, an A plus for the Orioles and to a C minus, D plus for the Red Sox. Like, this is definitely a big trade, and time is the only thing that'll be able to tell if it's going to be worth it for them. But if they're getting this version of Adley Rutschman, I think that's a trade that you have to do.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with it.
Player, so I get it.
Yeah.
For the Orioles, again, I give it an A plus. I think that their end of this trade is the best end of any trade all deadline.
Yeah.
I would say. For the Red Sox, I give it a C because you gave up so much, right? The reason it's not a D trade is because number one, Adley is really fucking good. And also, you need a catcher. Like, this is the type of player that you kind of needed to get. right? That's the reason
Yeah.
why it's not like a D trade. But also, you could have very easily just like not included. You probably could have gotten away with out including Azakar or Weatherspoon, or even both. You probably could have
Yeah.
left both out of the trade and still got it done. Or even like Witherspoon and Narvaez, or even Azakar and Rivas, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's like probably multiple sets of like 2 players, maybe even 3, that you just did not need to put in the trade, and you still would have got it done.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how everything works out. But yeah, I definitely like the Orioles end a lot more. Next one.
And wait, before we move on, Jose Soriano's debut with the Jays is finished. 4 2/3, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Not bad.
Not
The
great.
knuckle curve did look very good, but first start with the new team could have gone worse.
Not spectacular. The walks
No.
could be low. Again, we know the walks are kind of a thing with him. Also, I forgot to mention kind of a notable thing for Soriano. He went from throwing to Logan O'Hoppe
2 runs, 1 earned, by the way.
to I know.
Which, yeah.
He went from throwing to Logan O'Hoppe, who is the worst, who is dead last in fielding run value and framing runs, to Brandon
Yeah.
Valenzuela and Alejandro Kirk, who are 2 of the best defensive catchers in the league. That's got to be a plus.
Yeah.
Also, Angels tax, you got to take like 0.3 off his FIP. Anyways, next trade we got over here. This is the Brewers giving up. The Brewers getting Dustin May and Jojo Romero from the Cardinals for outfielder Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale. Ethan, what was your first assessment of this trade?
The Brewers pitching lab is going to go bonkers here, is my first thing.
Yeah. I think
Jojo Romero, I think, is, he has the ability to be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it last year. Obviously not a high swing and miss guy, so that's obviously going to put a cap of how well he's going to be able to perform, like in terms of, getting chases and whiffs. But, I think with the Brewers, less, lower leverage than he would be with the Cardinals, I think that automatically helps. And Dustin May, I mean, that's just a funny player for sure. But as just an arm, just, hey, we need some innings, go out there and get him, he'll do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we know pretty damn well that the Brewers are not short of top-end talent in the rotation. So that's why I think that's a very solid depth guy. He's their 4 or 5 now. Like, I don't think that's bad by any means. And Jojo Romero, I mean, he should be back soon, right? Because what was it, like appendicitis or something? It was like not even like a baseball injury. So he should be back, slot in nice in that bullpen. And it's like I said, they needed to go out and get a lefty reliever, and they did it.
Yeah, they got a good one too. Like, plus strikeout rate, walk rate's fine, home run rate's not that high. Dustin May, I think he's better than like his ERA will lead on. I do think his peripherals are nice, but they gave up pretty, like, Frias is really good.
Yes.
And again, Dustin May is another one of those cases where he's a rental, right? And the Cardinals got who is now their 4th ranked prospect, 60 grade power, by the way, 60 grade arm. Like, he's probably gonna grade out more as like a right fielder, but he has the likelihood to be like really good. The Red Sox are 27-3 over the last 30 games. My God, really close to being 28-3. That'd be funny, but I would argue you probably could have given up less for Dustin May. I like it a lot for the Cardinals because Frias is really fucking good. He's been a big riser this year. I think depending on the list, he's probably top 100. Maybe even higher than that. I don't think he's on top 100 on Pipeline, but he's 4th in the Cardinal system according to them. And Ragsdale is another plus piece too. I honestly think you could have probably got this. I honestly don't even think that like May for Ragsdale is bad value. And Frias for both I think is like crazy. I think you could have gotten more, if you're giving up Frias. But this is a rare Brewers. Like, I don't love the trade for them. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean? It's probably like I give it like a C for them.
It fits holes for sure, but it's not a sexy trade.
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting insane value back. It's just it's It's like they put an effective, like a high quality band-aid over the problem. Like, yeah, it's gonna do its job to keep everything out, stop it temporarily, but it's not a permanent fix.
Yeah. I give it like a C for the Brewers and honestly, I'm like an A minus for the Cardinals. I think it's
Yeah, I
really good for
agree.
them. Next trade.
I'm a bit more nicer to the Brewers on this, like a C plus ish, but like not much more,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like the trade is what the trade is, right?
Yeah.
Next trade, we have the Cubs getting Ryan Zefferson for Moises Ballesteros and Mason McGuire. Um, let's get something out of the way. Ryan Zefferson is really fucking good, right? Probably
Yes.
one of the best, like, under the radar relievers of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like, his strikeout stuff is ridiculous. Okay? So this is a big, big addition to the Cubs bullpen, right?
Yes.
And he's under contract through 2030. But the Angels got a former top 100 prospect in Moises Ballesteros. And they got another
Yes.
guy in there, too. And I think McGuire is around like 15th in their system now, I think. Where is he? Somewhere around there. Or is he not here? I thought he was there around 15th. Never mind. Oh, I'm on 2025 by accident. That's awkward. Yeah, he's 15th. So you got a former top 100 guy, and you got who's now 15th in your system. You trade another controllable reliever, which, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? But now, whew, it's a little risky, I would say, for the Cubs. Again, I think he's good, but Zefferson does kind of have command issues. Like, his walk rate this year is in the 6th percentile. Even his chase rate is in the 4th percentile. He gets a lot of in-zone misses, which is really good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get as many guys to chase, and so that he walks a lot of guys because of that. So that's why his ERA is as high as it is at 3.71. I think realistically he's closer to a high 2, low 3 ERA guy than that, but that's just where he is, and that's why he is where he is.
Yes.
But on the other end, Moises Ballesteros. Oh, when I saw this trade, when it got tweeted out by Passan or whoever tweeted first, I don't remember. I look at Zefferson and I go, yeah, makes sense. He's really good. And then I see Moises Ballesteros with the turn. I'm like, oh man, insanely good return for the Angels. I'm saying that a lot this deadline. And Ethan, I didn't think I'd be saying that at all.
No.
Ridiculously good return for the Angels. Again, former top 100 guy, catcher DH, even if he grades out more as a DH, maybe even first baseman type. That's a lot of upside that you have in Ballesteros now. And he's only 22. Only 22 with plus bat speed. Hits the ball kind of hard. You got something there, man.
For sure.
I like it for the Cubs just because Everson's good. I don't love it. Probably like a B minus for the Cubs. Honestly, I'd give this an A for the Angels. I think it's an insanely good return.
I agree. I think that they definitely, it's clear that the memo for this deadline compared to previous ones is different. This wasn't just hey, do whatever the hell you want to do. It was, they had a clear cut, plan in place that, okay, we want to really rebuild this farm system, and they're doing a great job doing that.
This is the first time that I've been actually happy with an Angels deadline since I don't know, in the last 10 years.
And another walk for Bateman, so he's 1 for 1 with 2 walks.
We take that. Next up, the Pirates getting Luke Weaver. I predicted that, by the way. Shout out me. For shortstop prospect Sammy Stafora. Now, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I think Stafora ranks. Where is he? I think he's around top 10. He's their 11th best prospect now for the Mets in their system. Solid return for a reliever who had, he had another year left on his deal, but he was also getting paid a decent amount of money. But for the Pirates, man, what do we say they needed, Ethan? They need a bullpen help, right?
Yeah.
This is bullpen help, right? When we were talking about Duvall, we were talking about, it can go this way or this way. Weaver's just comes in, he's that guy.
Yeah.
There's an argument to be made that he was the best reliever traded at the deadline. I think off the top of my head, it's probably between him or Hoffman. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to someone else and be like, oh yeah, that guy. But Weaver's really good. He doesn't walk guys. He gets a lot of strikeouts. No home runs given up by him. Like nothing. He's insanely good. He's ridiculous. Again, one of the best relievers on the market this year. Pirates needed a reliever. He was a perfect match for the Pirates. Perfect match.
Yes.
I think getting Stafora back is a good return for the Mets, but at the same time, like, Weaver's exactly what the Pirates needed. Mets, they're also covering, I think I have it up. They're covering $8 million of what Weaver's making between this year and next year. So that does help with the value, obviously. So the Pirates had to give up a little bit extra. But overall, just like good. I think it's a really good deal on both sides. Like, honestly, A- for both sides.
I like that.
Honestly,
yeah, I do.
It, A for the Pirates, A- for the Mets.
Well, we're giving out good grades here. This is like we're like the teachers you wish you had in school.
Honestly, bro. I mean, look at this. This is exactly the kind of player the Pirates needed. And sure, you gave up a semi-valuable asset, but you're also not paying as much of the money. You're $8 million there's $8 million that you're not paying, and you're getting an elite reliever. It's like really fucking good. Do you want to talk about Braxton Garrett to the Cubs for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
Solid.
Braxton Garrett to the Cubs.
Solid depth pitcher. Actually, I wanna talk about this just because it leads me to something else.
Yeah.
They didn't have Reed Detmer's money. Braxton Garrett is champ. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, there was a Cubs writer I think it's called Bleacher Nation, I think is what it's called. I can't remember.
Justin claims him, by the way.
Justin does claim him. I actually asked him. I got him in call to ask him about it, and he's like, yeah, that's my guy. So he tweets out that the Cubs are trading for Reed Detmers. Like, not like they're in talks, but like the trade has happened. And then one of the other Cubs like beat writers, I don't know if he's a beat writer, if he writes for them for MLB.com, I don't remember, but it's Jesse Rogers, big guy in the Cubs spaces. He comes out, or maybe it was somebody else, and then he said it after, but somebody comes out and says, that the trade is not happening. They're talking about it, but there's nothing confirmed. And then more and more guys start saying it. I don't think Jesse Rogers was the first guy to get it. I think he was one of the guys that came out after, who said like no. I think it was one of those. I think it was one of the Just Baseball guys. And then it's like, oh, is it going to get done? Is it not? Because you had a lot of like, even like the Talkin' Baseball accounts, the Underdog MLB account was tweeting that the trade was done. Because, it's more or less kind of, you were kind of assuming it was, it's already done as a thing, right?
Yeah.
But now it's not. So they said, consolation prize, it's time for Braxton Garrett. Now, Braxton Garrett, I mean, this is a depth move at the end of the day,
Yeah.
This is just a straight depth move.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty even trade, like a B on both sides, if I had to give it a grade.
Yeah.
But that's the context behind the move, and I think that's a really funny context behind it.
Yeah.
A little too broke to go get Reed Detmers. Who was it that put that meme in there? Was it you?
I don't think so.
All right. Moving on to the next move now. This is a big one. Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor to the Cubs for top 100 prospect Jefferson Rojas. Now, Ethan.
Yes.
Do you remember when I said there are certain trades that made the Gosman return look terrible?
Yes, it was this one.
This is one of them. Were you in here when this trade went down in the voice?
Yes.
Chat? Yeah. So I remember seeing this, and I see he's 60.
I was there until after the deadline. Like I was there until
I can't remember.
I was there for the Hoffman trade.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who was in. The guys were in and out. I couldn't remember everything.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, you could have gotten one of the top at least 10 prospects in the Cubs system. Rojas was the second ranked prospect in the Cubs system, and Holmes and Gosman are pretty close in terms of how good they are as pitchers, right?
What the fuck? Yeah. I just go on the real app for a sec, and I'm seeing pitch number 15 to Lucas, in play, no out.
Huh. Interesting.
15.
He is that kind of guy.
Base is loaded. Yeah, he does that.
But yeah, I think like a top 65 prospect for Clay Holmes, insanely good return by the Mets, like absolute steal for the Mets. Not that I think it's a bad return for the Cubs because they needed starting pitching, right? That's why they got Gosman. That's why they got Clay Holmes. Tyrone Taylor's a good platoon bat. Like I think that they got what they need, but also from a value standpoint, oh my god, the Mets
Yeah,
you do
that's
this.
great.
You did insanely well in this trade if you're the Mets.
Yes.
So I mean, like, fantastic for them. I would say, like, what do you want to say? Like, I might even
A
say
for sure.
A for the Mets, even
A for the Mets, and probably
maybe even A plus.
Yeah.
I'll go C plus for the Cubs just because the value isn't there, but also like these are
A for the Mets, B minus for A plus for the Mets, B minus for the Cubs for me.
yeah.
Because I think that it's still like for what the Cubs are doing, Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor
Yeah.
definitely help. However, it's a lot to give up for them.
It is. It's an insane. Like from a value standpoint, they lose the trade, but also Clay Holmes is the kind of guy that you just kind of need right now. You know what I mean? This is the kind of player that you need right now because they needed starting pitching. You know, this is why they got two. I even said, I think 2 weeks ago, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they go get 2 pitchers. Because they kind of need it.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, makes the Gosman return look fucking terrible. Next one. Tyler Wells for the Rays. You know what's really funny?
What?
Michael Forett, who got traded to the Orioles, he got traded for Shane Baz in the offseason.
That's funny, actually.
He was one of the guys I saw. I didn't realize that at first.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted it. Which I think funny. And you know what? Insanely good deal for the Orioles. Insanely good. I don't know about everybody else. I am not like the biggest Tyler Wells dude. You know, I think he's fine, but I don't think he's like anything crazy. And also, I mean, it helps that they got back a pretty fucking good prospect for him. I guess, like, you're kind of recouping for the Shane Baz thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm surprised that they got, like, this level of prospect for him because right now, let's see where he ranks in the Orioles system because I can't remember. Currently, he ranks, let me see. He ranks 6th in the Orioles system right now. I just don't think you had to give that up for Tyler Wells. Wells has another year of control, but also like big injury thing with him, you know.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the reason why he moved to the bullpen, but I don't know. Obviously, he's a reliever now, so it's a little bit different. Like even his velocity gained some ticks since he was last a starter, which makes sense when you're pitching more in spurts, more as a whole, pitching like 100 plus innings. But with that said, man, insanely good return for the Orioles. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the Orioles are a team that I think brought in a ton of good guys, like prospects and assets to counteract for the fact that the season hasn't gone exactly how they had planned. And some of the guys that they brought in, even flipping them and getting a great return, like they got for like they flipped Ward and got like some decent got like assets back. But obviously the Adley trade is the one that really sticks out. But you can't ignore these little trades as well, these smaller trades that help just as much because you're adding to an already good farm system. You're adding even more talent.
Yeah.
And to an organization that has been getting younger and younger, you're adding, guys that, aren't up there in age. Right? A guy who's a pitcher who's 20, I think he's 22 years old. So getting a guy like that, making your team even younger and hopefully extending your window. And with the rumors with Gunnar, apparently with him likely leaving, it's going to be interesting to see the haul they get for him.
Whew. If he's not resigning, get him out of here now. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait and fucking unless you're gonna go like all the fucking way in, then don't wait.
Yeah.
Next trade: Dalton Varsho to the Astros for Spencer Arrighetti. Now, there's a couple things to be clear. Number one, Dalton Varsho's not having a great year, and he's also expiring, right? Those things they do
Yeah.
those things they combine to lower value, right? Now,
Yeah.
Arrighetti is not great. I don't love Arrighetti. I don't think he's that good. But he's a serviceable major league pitcher, and he's controllable for, I think, in the next 4 years?
Yeah.
That is objectively valuable on some level. And to get that for a rental outfielder, I feel like he's pretty good. I just don't love him as a whole. You know what I mean? I don't think he's that good. But objectively, I think this is pretty good value for Toronto. But for Houston, this is the kind of thing that they needed. I think when we talked about Varsho a few weeks ago in like the trade candidates episode, I think Houston was one of the teams that we mentioned.
Yeah.
As a team that like kind of needed outfield help and just offensive help. Well, I guess he's not helping your offense much this season, but they needed help on the position player side of things. They needed pitching too, but wouldn't hurt, right? I think on a team that has a little bit more offense, you know, say Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, you can afford a guy who's good defense in center field and is like a 90 WRC plus bat more than Toronto could, where their offense stunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Varsho now becomes more of a complementary piece as opposed to where he was kind of part of the problem this season for Toronto. Again, part of the problem mostly because the rest of the offense sucked, but, you know, that kind of thing. What were you about to say?
No, I was going to say, like, it's one of those things where the Jays just got an asset, so for a guy like Varsho, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, you weren't gonna get much for him. I'd probably say I'd give this honestly, I give it a B both sides. I think it's pretty even. I give it a B both sides. I don't think it's spectacular, but, you know, it's not a bad trade by any means. Brewers getting Antonio Senzatella from the Colorado Rockies. Interesting little move here. I don't think that Senzatella had much value right now, I'm going to be honest. And there's two reasons why. Number one, he's been terrible since like June. And the other reason is that he's actually making a lot of money. He has a club option next year for $10 million. So he's either a rental or a $10 million reliever. And even though he's having a solid season, he's not a $10 million reliever.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you weren't going to get much of a return for him, which is kind of what they got. They got like a pretty...
That's about what you would expect, yeah.
Yeah, what you would have thought they would have got. They didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
It was exactly what we thought was going to happen. So this is one where... Do you want to give this a C on both sides and just move on?
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe B- for the Brewers, because at least Senzatella has a ceiling. We'll do that.
This trade.
We'll do that. Next up, Eric Miller to the Red Sox. This is a big one, because they traded former... was Marcelo Meyer, was he top 10?
I think he might have been,
I think he was top 10 at one point. For Eric Miller. Now, Eric Miller's really fucking good.
I love this trade for Boston. He still has 3 years after this of team control. Left-handed reliever who throws like hard. Not even just for a lefty, but just throws hard in general. You know, with his sinker coming in at 97 and his four-seamer also coming in around 97. Yep. As well as just being able to limit, you know, hard hit balls. Yes, he does walk a lot of guys, but to counteract that, he strikes out a lot of guys too.
Yep.
So, you know, definitely a very good guy to add. Not to even mention the fact that you already have an incredible left-handed reliever in the bullpen in Chapman, and you're adding another one.
Yep. So
now you have 2 legitimate shut-down lefty relievers when the average team doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that you also have Garrett Whitlock, who, as a righty, has also been very good, and other guys that have, you know, done the job, like Guerrero even. Like, just guys who have been steady. You get a legitimate lefty to throw into that already good bullpen, and just an awesome move. Obviously, it didn't come, at a very cheap price, but
Well, with this,
I don't know. I mean,
what this tells me is they're out on Marcelo Meyer. They're like, we're done.
yes, yeah,
Which, to be fair, I don't blame them. He's been kind of dog shit since he's been in
yeah,
the majors. But they made one of the best bullpens in baseball. You can argue the best bullpen in baseball, even fucking better. Like, you know
yeah,
how, okay, you know it's like the kind of Padres team build, right? Except
yeah,
their starting pitching is also elite. So, like, if their offense has a good night, their chances of winning a game is so incredibly high. They just need to get a lead. Because you go down,
yeah,
like you said, Tyron Guerrero, you have Eric Miller now, Garrett Whitlock, Aroldis Chapman. Like, it's so good down there. The Red Sox have it insanely well.
yeah.
Even a guy like Justin Slayton, he's really fucking good too.
Yeah, like
You know what
that's
I
a guy I
mean?
didn't even mention who's good. Like, this is making one of, if not the best bullpen in baseball better.
Yeah, and they already had an elite pen last year. Even a guy like
Yeah,
fucking Giovanni Moran, like he hasn't been as. I mean, he's had the odd rough outings since he came off the IL in early July, but for the most part, he's been fucking spectacular. Like he's been in really good too, and that's just another arm. You're like 7-8, like really good arms deep, right? So if you
yeah,
have to pull a starter early in a playoff game, you can bullpen game your way on from like the third, fourth inning, and everyone there is shut down, right?
yeah. And now with Chapman being as old, at his age, and given who knows what the future holds for him, considering he is a free agent at the end of next year, because I'm gonna have to assume he's gonna take the mutual option is gonna be accepted, and that's even if there's baseball next year, obviously. So the fact that that Miller is under team control longer than Chapman is, they have their number one lefty when Chapman's gone. Miller
Yeah,
is a number one lefty on almost any team in baseball and out of the bullpen, except for this team, which he will be the number one soon enough. So
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. They
what a
also
turnaround it's been,
they
man.
did, by the way. This isn't mentioned in the article. I have the baseball value step up. That's the only reason why I noticed this. They also got another outfield prospect, Carlos Gutierrez. The Red Sox did. Overall, I think that this is a really good trade for the Red Sox. I understand Marcelo Meyer
Yeah,
was a former top prospect, and he still has some of that value. But there's a lot of value that's lost because he's just respectfully been terrible in the majors, right? Um,
yeah,
Plus, also, I guess with like Curtis Mead being there too, like he's at third base now. You have a lot of guys. You have a lot of guys where Meyer would play. He wasn't gonna. I don't think. You know what I mean? He had to earn the playing time.
yeah,
He earned himself no playing time. He earned himself to not play. That's what he earned.
yeah,
And you got an elite reliever out of it. You got another, solid outfield prospect. The upside
yeah,
for Meyer is still there, so that's why I still like it for the Giants. But also, like, I still really like this for the Red Sox. Like, probably B plus both sides. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what I'm gonna go. I'm going B plus both sides. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd honestly go A for the Red Sox. I just love it.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just in love with that.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate that. All right, next trade: Foster Griffin to the Guardians. Solid move. I actually really like this. This is another one where the Nationals. Now for Griffin, I think it makes a little bit more sense just because he's an expiring and he doesn't have the, you know what I mean. He's just coming back from overseas. But this is another one of those quantity over quality packages, right? The top asset that they gave up, the Guardians gave up, was Josh Hartle, lefty pitcher. Outside of that, none of the other three players they gave up are anything, right? None of
Yeah,
them currently mean anything. Maybe they turn out something later, but as of now, they don't really hold much value. You didn't get anything crazy for Foster, which I didn't think they were going to, per se. But at the same time, it's like, you just kind of got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got a bunch of mystery boxes.
Yeah.
A bunch of lottery tickets.
Exactly. It's like, maybe you could have got, like, you could have got the boat. Or you could have got this mystery box. Which could be anything. Could even be a boat.
Yeah. Exactly. It can even be another Foster Griffin.
It could be another Foster Griffin. Who knows?
There's 2 lefties. It could be 2 Foster Griffins. Oh my god.
My god. Wait a minute. But yeah, like, I don't think the Nationals weren't going to get anything crazy. I think they could have got like a little bit more, but not that much more, to be honest.
Here's the thing, though. It comes down to what would you rather more? Would you rather just a couple like decent prospects, or would you rather just get one guy that's better than them, but you're not really getting the quantity and the depth? And it's like, at that point, you might as well just take the couple extra guys and hope you hit on one of them.
Yeah, it depends on what you'd rather value.
Because you're not getting like a top 5 or top 10 prospect for Foster Griffin, so.
No, I think they could have got a team's like 10th prospect. I think maybe, but.
Okay, you're not getting a top 10 in a good farm system. It would be one of the lower end ones if you're getting a top 10 for him.
Yeah, you're not getting the top 10 prospect in a Dodger system because their system's loaded. But
right,
I just really like it value-wise for the Guardians. You didn't really give up anything that hurt very much, and you got a pitcher who has been really fucking good this year. This is another big boost to rotation. Honestly, I guess like an A for the Guardians, maybe like a B- for the Nationals.
Yeah, I agree.
They definitely got the better end of this.
I don't know if I'd go full on A. I'd think like maybe B+ and like B-, just because it's like I don't think getting Foster, like he's definitely solid and helps, but like based off of the other teams we've given A+ or A's to, I don't think it's as strong.
Fairs, I guess, but I don't know. I just think it's
yeah.
Next trade we have up Jeff Hoffman getting traded to the Minnesota Twins for lefty Dasan Hill, righty John Klein, and second baseman Demurray Pena. And there's also some international money, $250,000 international pool.
Yeah, John Klein right now, he's a quadruple A guy. Demurray Pena, he's got a little upside. The big one in this trade is Dasan Hill, left-handed pitcher.
Former Baseball America top 100 prospect.
Yeah, I think he's like 20 years old. Left-hander who throws 100. He's got a very high ceiling.
Yes.
He's also got an astronomically low floor, though.
He's either going to be insanely good or insanely shit. I hit up when this trade went down. I hit up good old Prospect Savant, right? I go, what do I need to know here? Insanely good K rate with a lot of in zone miss. His fastball's pretty hittable. Prospect score 97th percentile. Fuck yeah! Wow. I love that shit. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, A+ for us, F- for them. Yeah, go good guys.
The big thing with him is the walks in the command.
Yeah.
I've seen people say that his zone rate is actually kind of higher than you'd expect, so I guess it's probably a lot more waste pitches. I'm pretty sure I saw that from Nene Takes. I hope I'm not misremembering who it was about, otherwise that'd be really embarrassing. So maybe it's fixable, but regardless, I think this is the kind of prospects that I like teams trading for, is guys who have fucking crazy upside. Like, don't play it safe. Don't pussyfoot around it. Say, I want the guy who's going to be that motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, like Jeff Hoffman, at the end of the day, if you're getting a guy who was that potential for Jeff Hoffman, you do it. You do.
It's not a bad idea. Jeff Hoffman was one of those guys where maybe he gets traded, maybe he doesn't, but it's if you're Toronto, he's one of those if the package is right kind of deal.
Yes.
I didn't expect it to happen, but I was like, yeah, very easily could, right?
Yeah.
For Minnesota, you get a really fucking good reliever. I know that there's a lot of Jays fans who do not want to hear this, but Jeff Hoffman is a legit elite reliever, right? His underlying numbers this season are astronomically better than they were last year, right? You can argue last year he just wasn't that great because he gave up a shit ton of home runs. He stopped doing that. He was walking less guys, and he's striking out the most guys he's ever struck out, ever. His strikeouts per 9 is over 14. It's never been higher than 12.1. Never.
Yeah.
And his ERA, ever since he stopped running a 500 BABIP over the first like 2 months of the season, his ERA has looked a lot more in line with what you'd expect. He's sitting at a 3.86 ERA right now. Since June 1st, let me pull up my good old splits tool on Fangraphs. Shout out Fangraphs. I love Fangraphs. Fangraphs my shit.
Yeah.
So, since June 1st, right? Do you want to guess what Jeff Hoffman's earned run average is?
0.40.
116.
Oh, I thought it was okay. It might have been inflated a bit more recent, but
maybe, I don't know. But regardless, ever since he stopped getting BABIP to shit,
it just I know there was like a stretch of like a full month or almost where he didn't give up a run.
It was like it was like that like around then to like July like 6 or something. Because I remember seeing like, oh fuck, this streak broke. But yeah, like he wasn't giving up anything. Because the first month of the season, I don't remember if you remember the season, he was running like a 500 BABIP.
Yeah.
Which, like, even if he was
it's not the same.
Even if he was getting hit hard, 500 BABIP is just not gonna last. And and the other thing is he wasn't getting hit hard. Like he was just getting like ridiculously unlucky. And how the season has gone since then is just further proving that point. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a good get for the Twins, right? It's not like, I don't think it's like some terrible trade. Baseball Trade Values has Jeff Hoffman as a negative asset. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I understand he's making a good bit of money, but he's also a legit elite reliever. Like seriously, like when everything is going how it should be, he's one of the best relievers in the league, and I'm dead serious when I say that.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, I think, are covering some of that money. I don't know exactly how much, but they're covering some of the money. Desan Hill, obviously, is a gamble. The other two prospects are kind of nothing, you know. John Klein's a MLB ready arm, but, you know, don't think he's going to be much pain. Yeah, same thing. Hill's the big get. I like this trade a lot for both sides. I'd say it's an A for both sides. Maybe A- for the Twins. But, like, this is an A for the Blue Jays. A- for the Twins, I'd say.
Yeah.
Legitimately really good trade on both ends.
Yeah.
Next up, Lars Nootbaars for the Diamondbacks. I'm not going to lie to you. Until this trade got announced, no disrespect, Lars, I forgot he existed. I straight forgot about his existence as a human being. You remember, like, 4 years ago when everyone was saying Alejandro Kirk for Lars Nootbaar?
Yeah, I don't know why, but...
You remember that? I remember that.
Yeah.
Ethan, what do you think about this trade?
Yeah, I mean, Lars Nootbaar is not what he was. The hype has died down a little.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's not a bad player, but it's one of those things where it's, you know, not taking advantage of the market when you had it.
Yep.
There was no reason to hold on to him for this long, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But they did, and they got a couple prospects. They got Daniel Egan, Sandro Santana, and a player to be named later who has seen his name be called on this trade deadline quite a bit.
He has. He's been going a lot of places. We'll see where he decides to end.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you're right. It is like kind of, they could have moved him even 2 years ago. I think they would have got a lot more for what he did, or what they got. There's some good tools in his game, right? Bat speed is above average. He does not chase. He hits the ball pretty hard. But the other thing is, Ethan, he's a pure platoon guy.
Yeah.
You want to guess what his WRC plus against lefties is this year?
53.
34.
We're Dawson Matthews.
My cousin is older than that. One of my cousins is older than that. That's not...
I'm almost older than that.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm not quite, but...
But yeah, he's a straight platoon bat. He's a 34 WRC plus against lefties, 109 against righties. Pretty solid. Has some tools. Could potentially be better than that on both ends, but like we kind of said, I think we said this about Bo Naylor. Like, you know, the tools and the process and stuff can be nice, but eventually you got to do it, right? Like, it gets to a point, right? Now, this is a solid get for the D-backs, But also a solid return for the Cardinals, considering Lars Nootbaar didn't have that much value. You know, his value is kind
Yeah.
of gone. You know, he's pretty sure he's expiring at the end of the year. Oh no, he has another year of control. But even so, it's a platoon bat. Like, the value is not there for Lars anymore. So getting what they did, Daniel Egan, not bad. Getting another prospect late, and another prospect too. I think it's more or less kind of even. I think the Cardinals got the slightly better end, maybe like B plus B kind of action, maybe B minus. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go B for the Cardinals. I'm gonna go B minus for the D-backs.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
All right. Out of these next ones, which one here? I know you're looking at the same article. Which one do you want to talk about next?
Uh, I mean, Nathaniel Lowe, nothing crazy.
Yeah,
Vodnik for Norby. I mean, sure, I guess. Yates. I didn't even know that guy still played baseball.
Kirby Yates. Yeah. Actually, unironically, I will just say solid get for the Pirates, and you know,
No, I knew he still played. I was just,
I know. I'm just saying, solid return, solid get.
yeah. I guess we could talk about Casey Mize.
Casey Mize. So this happened like right at the buzzer, and I was thinking right before this, right? How are the Tigers going to trade Scooble and then do nothing?
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, I think that would have been one of the worst case scenarios. I'm glad they traded Mize because I think it was the correct move, right?
Yeah.
And I, like, on paper, I think this makes a lot of sense. Mize went to the Padres, right? Because they needed starters. Even after getting Robbie Ray, they still needed another starter. When I saw this, I was like, damn. Good fucking work, AJ. Now, he did give up a little bit more than I think he probably had to. But it's not a bad trade by any means. Cash Mayfield is definitely a valuable asset. Jackson Wolf, forget it. You can pretty much simplify this trade to Mize for Mayfield. I think it's good on both sides. But I do got to say, good fucking move on AJ for going and getting the two starters, doing what he has to do. I saw a lot of people. I saw some Padres fans saying fuck, like, Doomer posting about them not selling, and I'm like, I understand wanting to just recoup the farm and try to see if you can get off any of the bad contracts, but like, we can't be mad about this. I don't think you can be. Neither of these trades, I think, are bad trades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say this all the time about AJ Preller. I don't think I respect any executive in the league more than I respect AJ Preller.
Yes,
because
he will just say fuck it and throw out a package of awesome stuff.
Because and I heard this rationale. I hadn't thought about it like this, but this is what I think. Right? I think AJ Preller operates in the sense like he'll do a lot of these trades, and sure, he might lose the trade in the long run, right? I'm sure in some of them he even goes, yeah, I'm losing this on a pure value standpoint, but I want to fucking win the championship this year. I want to win literally right now.
More teams should take notes about that mindset.
Honestly, like the mindset, yes. Maybe the extent of it, not as much.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know what I mean? Maybe dial it back a little bit because there's some times where I think he goes a little overboard. But the principle and this deadline, this is what I'm talking about with Robbie Ray and Casey Mize. He saw, what do I need to win this year in 2026? I need starting pitching desperately because I have Michael King, who might even opt out. I don't think, is Nick Pivetta going to pitch again this season? Or is he out for the year?
I don't know.
Regardless, they needed pitching because Randy, who are you running out there? You're going to run fucking Randy Vasquez in a game 2 of a wildcard series?
Yeah.
Look at me dead in the eyes and tell me you're doing that. Like, come on. Yeah, realistically, you're looking at Michael King, Walker Buehler, and Griffin Canning, and Herman Marquez. That's one good pitcher. There's one good pitcher in there out of 5, excuse me. You have now made it where now, again, Walker, Randy Vasquez or Walker Buehler, or whoever being your 4 or 5 starters, is a lot better than them being your 2 and 3. Because now it probably slots in, I think Mize is probably your 2, Ray's your 3, I would think, right? And then Pivetta, he's rehabbing right now. His rehab, it says put on hold as of 7 hours ago, so we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah.
You potentially could be running a King Mize Pavetta Ray rotation in the playoffs, which actually, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be really nice. I'm disappointed the Padres didn't
Yeah.
get it bad, but that has nothing to do with this trade. On this own, I would say B plus for both sides. B plus for both sides. I
Yeah.
think both teams made out pretty well.
That's fair. That's valid. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ethan.
Uh.
With trade, we're
Yeah.
moving
What's
on to
next?
next.
I guess. I guess I'll get Ramos.
Helio Ramos.
Not much to say, but that's the second half of the platoon they got with Luis Garcia. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah. Um, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, Ramos having a solid season. Like you said, that is definitely a platoon guy. Overall, you would look at his slash line for the season and think, man, he's a pretty average hitter. He's here to hit lefties. 124 WRC+ against lefties, 92 against righties. We know what he's here for. We know what it is.
Yeah.
That's really the end of it. In terms of the Yankees side. For the Giants side, though,
Yeah.
Giants got a nice return. I won't even lie. They
Yeah.
got a nice little return there. So they had, because Henry Lillane was the Yankees' number 5 prospect, and you also got their number 13 prospect in Caden Kent for a platoon bat who granted, he's really controllable. You have him under contract for 3 years after this season, so 3.5 years of control. But you got a top 5 prospect from the Yankees, and then another top. I already forgot what I said.
Yeah, I mean they brought in some really good pitching prospects in this deadline. They got some really exciting players.
They made out really well in this trade and for the deadline as a whole. I'll give it a B for the Yankees just because solid move, upgrades your offense, especially because they desperately needed offense. Because
I'll give it an A for the Giants though.
Yeah, absolutely A for the Giants. Because that prospect haul for a guy like Ramos and even what they got for Arias, really good shit. Okay. Is there any other trades that we want to talk about, or are we?
I don't think we need to talk about Joe Glassy or Colby Thomas. With all due respect,
you don't want to talk about Reese Hintz?
My bad. Yeah, maybe the best player that the Orioles were involved in.
This is true. Well, anyways, fellas, that does it for today's episode. You know what, Ethan? Quickly before we go, give me your top 3 winners and losers of the deadline. Just overall
so I
deadline.
think
what they didn't do.
Yeah. So I think one of the big winners obviously is the Dodgers. I mean, goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there were teams that you could say were losers, like the Tigers in hindsight, because they didn't really do anything other than that. There are other teams that really didn't do anything despite they should have. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Giants really came out well with some of the guys they got. Yeah. And as for losers, I mean, I don't love what the Phillies did, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they did enough. The Brewers, I feel like I don't love what they did.
I thought the Mariners in that category too. I think they did not do nearly enough.
Yeah.
They got Taylor Ward and that was it.
The Marlins, I also think didn't do any. They just traded away a good player and then didn't really do anything else.
And kind of got fucked.
Yeah.
Kind of got finessed too. Yeah, I'd say my winners. I like the Angels. I really like the Angels.
Deadline. The Angels, yes. Obviously, I forgot about
that. The Giants too. The Orioles. I really like their deadline.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees could have done more. I like their deadline from a value standpoint, but I think they probably should have been doing more.
Yeah.
The Mariners, I think they should have done a lot more. The Phillies, I agree with you on there. Texas,
Yankees, I feel like should have done more. To be
losers,
honest.
They didn't do anything. They literally did nothing.
Yeah.
They sat there with their fucking thumb up their ass. They did literally fucking. They got fucking Adam Macko. That was their big deadline move.
Yeah.
That's sad. Like pick a
Not bad,
direction.
out of math though.
Pick a direction. Either sell off or like buy. Like
Yeah.
I would have preferred them doing the wrong, like just at least picking a direction. You're in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
You may as well buy.
Exactly.
Why not?
Why not?
Or if you want to sell, then sell. I understand you couldn't have traded DeGrom because he waived the no trade clause, but like you could have traded other dudes.
Yeah.
Whatever, it is what it is. But anyways, with that done, trade deadline, all of that stuff out the way. That is it on our trade deadline special. Of course, as always, thank you all for listening or watching. Any amount that you watched, of course, all means a lot. We will see you guys in the next one. We'll see y'all later.
Stay frosty.